I have a really, really hard time with reducing any human being to, he's not going to get to the 65% snap threshold. I'll explain in a minute edition. And I don't know about you, but I remember Charles Robinson being on this show and talking about how adamant the Jets were about not giving up a first-round pick without protection from a catastrophic injury. And it's a good thing they did if you're a Jets fan. If you're a Packers fan, we'll talk about you in a minute edition of Wilde and Tausch. On 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker. Streaming live video on Twitter, Facebook, and for today on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. So if you're looking for video right now, that's where you'll find it. And, of course, on Wisconsin On Demand. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from his undisclosed location, he is the Packers Hall of Famer. He's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. I was at a youth football game last night, and word spread very quickly that something had happened to Aaron Rodgers. And it was, first I had gotten a text that he blew his ACL out. Then it was a broken ankle. And then, unfortunately, got home and kind of heard that it was potentially an Achilles. So I'm bummed. And then I had to get off of Twitter X because I just thought last night was not a good night for humanity when it comes to Twitter X. I just thought it was bad. And it wasn't, just fans. I thought there was some media. I just thought it was Twitter docs. I didn't like the whole thing. I didn't like it a bit. I thought it was kind of dehumanizing, and I thought it made me wonder. I texted a few people, is this normal? Do we treat anyone, it's politicians and athletes are about it, right? That you can just kind of take open shots at and do it. I just didn't like it. I understand fans. I get it. I understand people wanting to get good draft picks. All of those things I get all that. But can we let, like an hour ago, can we wait till today? Do we
still
have
a person.
to pounce as quickly as you can? And I know Packer fans are frustrated with Aaron. I get it. We've heard it. We understand how last season played out and everything else. But son of a gun, played a lot of good ball here. I just thought that there was, and it wasn't everybody. I don't want to throw everybody into one bucket.
Right.
But it was more than I would have. It was more like talking media folks that cover the Packers, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. I thought it was pretty disgusting, actually.
Jesse, did you feel the same way?
I think when we look at social media and everything that we just heard from Tausch, when we watch these athletes, if you don't know them personally, if you don't have a relationship with them, if it's not a life-threatening situation like we saw with Damar Hamlin last year, fans view these athletes as TV characters. And it's like if your favorite TV character gets written out of a show, or it's like if your favorite TV character is going through some type of crisis. Like, you hope that they power through, but in the same time, it doesn't feel personal. And for both of you...
It's not a character, though.
For both of you, it's a
not
different
a
experience than it is for fans who are watching last night that don't know Aaron Rodgers personally.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. So...
Yeah.
Let me start here. So, Maddie had ballet last night. Sydney had a soccer game, so we divided and conquered.
Triple Salchow? She's doing any Salchows?
She did do a triple something, actually, and I thought of you when she got in the car after practice and told me about it. It was not a Salchow. That, again, is ice skating. It was, I don't know what it was. I'll have to ask her. But... so I am sitting in the parking lot writing my Kenny Clark story, which, by the way, Kenny Clark's dad, who had been in prison for 20 plus years, was at the game on Sunday, having received clemency in California. He had claimed that he was innocent all along. I don't know the particulars, but I know
what is clemency, and why is it called clemency? Since you just wrote this article.
Because Tom Clements.
No, come on, be serious. Like, I'm curious.
I don't
I've
know
heard
why that's
clemency
the word. I don't know the etymology
what
of
does
the
it
word.
mean, though?
It means that he got out
pardon?
early by decree
Like a
of the. It's like a pardon, yes.
Okay. All right.
By decree of the governor. But a really touching story. Now, again, I don't know the specifics, and Kenny does not talk about specifics, but he's such a likable dude. And the fact that he doesn't get emotional very often, and this was extremely emotional for him, was, right up my alley. By the way, also, Jordan Love texted me back. He said he did not get emotional in his answer. He said it was a good question, though. I said, well, thank you, but I was kind of hoping that I got you. Anyway, so I'm writing my story. I've got my iPad on the dashboard of my car, and it's got Monday Night Football on. And my first thought on their first two plays is, God, you went out and got a near 40-year-old Hall of Famer, and you're protecting him with this horrible offensive line, right? Mekhi Becton misses that cut block early, first or second play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get hurt. And then the very next play, Dwayne Brown gets beat, and he gets hit, and you see his legs underneath him awkwardly. And I knew, I'm not a Twitter doc, I certainly did not have the evidence for it, but when he got up, because you know this, you did it, right? When you guys get hurt, you want to get up right away. The last place you want to do is be staying down on the ground. So I knew he'd get up, and when he went and sat back down, I said he popped his Achilles. He ruptured his Achilles, and he knows it. Now, unfortunately, he was, it appears, right. But a few minutes later, I got a text from a friend of mine, and she wrote, I wish I knew how you were processing this right now. And it hit me really hard because of how the day kind of played out. So let me explain. Now, look, I'm a lot of things. Perfect is not one of them. There's a line around the block. There's a line around the block that will tell you that's true. It starts with Paula and Tausch.
A lot of flaws.
You're the first two in line.
For sure.
But I do try very hard to always lead with kindness. It is one of my core beliefs. I always try to be kind. Do I fail sometimes? Absolutely. Absolutely. So yesterday, the girls had volleyball practice, and they knew that Rodgers was making his debut with the Jets. Now, as Jesse correctly pointed out, we have a different relationship with him than the average fan who just watched number 12 play football and start for the Packers for 15 years. So I don't expect this to hit everyone the same. We're all different. We all process things differently.
Totally agree.
So I understand that aspect of it. But there is a relationship there. Now, I tried very hard to keep my journalistic ethics intact. And I've told the story before of when we started the 4 years of doing the radio show, how he told me the very first day, I know you care about that. I don't want you to ever pull any punches with any questions. Whatever you ask, I can handle. I always respected that about him. Now, the complicated fella also creates complicated relationships. There are some really wonderful qualities that he possesses. I saw him with MacFund kids. I saw him with my own kids. I saw him with Make-A-Wish kids. But beyond that, like his interactions with other human beings, he has a charisma and a gravity and an ability to make people feel really special. And I got to see that demonstrated a lot of times. He also truly seemed to care about others. Now, The complicated fella has made things more complicated lately. His favorite musical is Wicked. So is mine. We have a lot in common. We have dysfunctional families. We have all kinds of issues, right? We function very similar. We both hold grudges. But there's a line in Wicked that is delivered by the wizard that he says, there are precious feuities with moral ambiguities, so we act as if they don't exist. We want to be able to say this guy's a bad guy or a good guy. We don't want to deal with the gray area of every human being. And so we have reached a point now on Aaron Rodgers where most people have put him in one category or the other. They do not see shades of gray. They hate him, which is, I believe, in the Packers fan base, a larger percentage than the ones who love him. For me personally,
Okay.
It's a lot harder because I still believe in his core goodness, but at the same time, didn't appreciate being thrown under the bus on Joe Rogan for my follow-up question. Didn't really appreciate when my wife was going through breast cancer and had no immune system. And I do not want to turn this into a discussion of the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines, but when the most important person in your world doesn't have the ability to fight off any sort of infection or virus, and someone prominent is talking about how you shouldn't get the vaccine, that's a tough deal for me, okay? So there's a complication there. But yesterday, and look, do I wish he was more the person that I believe he's capable of being than sometimes who he actually is? No doubt. But again, we always lead with kindness around here in our house, or we try like hell to. And so the girls asked if they could send him a video wishing him good luck in his start with his new team. And I thought it was a really cool idea. So they both recorded a video, Sid before her soccer game, Maddie before ballet practice. And we sent it to him, and it was late, like it was like 6:30. So he had his phone off, and he was getting ready for the game. And I thought about the fact that he clearly was in the locker room after this, and he clearly turned on his phone because they showed delivery after the injury had occurred. And I'm not going to make it sound like my kids sending a stupid little video wishing him good luck are the kindest, most wonderful thing in history. But that's a tiny little bit of kindness that costs you nothing. And I don't know. Maybe there was a tiny bit of, hey, there's some people who care about me. All I know is that I got a sick feeling in my stomach when I saw the injury, and I got an even sicker feeling when I saw the reaction to it. And I heard people talking about it, and I got text messages from friends of mine that were more vitriolic than just, well, there goes the 65%. I heard a lot of people talking about karma. I heard an anger, and to use the word you used, a dehumanization that for me went beyond, I don't know this guy personally. It wasn't just, I didn't play with him like Tausch, or I didn't do a radio show with him like Wilde, so I don't have that same connection, Jesse. This went, I don't want to call it schadenfreude, because there were Packers fans that were disappointed, not because of his injury, but because of what it means for their draft pick. And then there were other people that I think were thinking he got what he deserved and believed that that was the universe treating him the way he, in their opinion, deserved to be treated. And I know I'm a Pollyanna and all those other things, but I just want us to be better as people. That's fine. You don't like how he handled last season? I get it. As a Packers fan, you have every right to be pissed. We have been critical of him on this show repeatedly. I love the fact that I have some people that say that I never criticize him, and I have other people that say I criticize him all the time. I must be doing something right. But the bottom line is that, and this is not a tragedy. This is not the level of so many other awful things that happen in the world. But on a much smaller scale, can't we just be a little bit better as people? To go on a rant or on social media or wherever it might be about him getting what he deserved, that was really hard for me to take. Really hard. And that's from someone who was pissed at him myself for a number of things. But we still have to have a humanity about this stuff. I didn't mean to get on a soapbox. That was not my intent. And I'm sorry for that. But we got to be better, man. We got to be better. We'll take your thoughts on this. 844-770-3776. Look, if you have a courage of your conviction on this and you're like, hey, I can't stand the guy and I'm pissed that the Packers now are going to get a second round pick instead of a first rounder, fine. I want to hear from you. If you have Packers fan friends that had a different reaction than you did, I want to hear from you too. Whatever your reaction is, this is a day because this does impact the Packers. And that was where a lot of people were thinking right away. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Tausch, when you think about this from a purely football perspective, at age soon to be 40, did he play his last down of football?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think there's any way. It's one thing if your skills have eroded and you don't have a contract and nobody wants you. That's not going to be the case. He's got guaranteed money. But I think knowing him, this will fuel him, and he's going to rehab it and get back out there and give this another crack at playing. I'll be shocked. Again, it isn't even 24 hours old. Mm-hmm. The swelling goes down, and fortunately, I've never had to deal with an Achilles, but it's a big injury, especially for NBA guys, because you lose that elasticity, and you're not able to jump and do all the things that you could do before. But you can rehab it, and I just think he'll take this thing head on. I can't imagine him looking at it and saying, I can't do this. That's just not how he's wired. And at this point in his life, even though a lot of people would say, well, he's 40, he's got other interests, all that stuff, that's all fair. You just know the competitor that he is, and I'll be shocked if he doesn't rehab and make a push to come back next year. I'd be shocked.
844-770-3776. I think the question here is, how do you feel today? And again, however you feel is okay. That's your right to feel the way you feel.
Yeah. And by the way, as a Packer fan, my little rant wasn't near as long as yours.
Sorry.
No. I loved your emotion there. I think being a Packer fan and looking at it and saying, well, darn it, I really wanted a first-round pick. I mean, would it be great if you waited a couple hours? Sure, but I understand that's the mentality. I get all that.
Right.
It's the personal, vitriolic hatred. I mean, yeah, I get it that he had the last season didn't go great. He had 17 pretty dang great seasons. And he was a pretty darn good Packer. That's the part that I have a hard time getting my head wrapped around. And I understand the disconnect when you don't know him. I get all of that. There's just some people that have been around and know more about Aaron and understand the complexities of it that are just out there spewing just garbage. That's the stuff that is troublesome to me.
There's no good.
You know what? And in fairness, Twitter's not real life. Nobody would do that person to person. Nobody would. Nobody would go up to Aaron sitting there getting ready for an MRI and say, "Man, you deserve that." Nobody would.
Karma's, you know what? Yeah. Also, I would disagree with you. I think there are people that would do that. It's not a large percentage of them.
Tell me who would do that.
I think my point is that if you're willing to put it on Twitter, it's how you really feel, and whether or not you have the guts to do that to someone's face doesn't change the fact that that's how you feel.
There's a difference in reporters. What I like about it, you have to write something, and then you have to go in the locker room and look old boy in the face and say, yeah, I wrote that. There's a difference between that and Johnny Q having a Coors Light at a bar just spewing stuff. There is a big difference in that.
Yeah. But we do – look, I'm not sure that was very good at all, and I'm sorry for going so long. I'm not sure that was good radio, bad radio, or whatever that was. But we have to own what we say, and everything I said is now recorded. So if I said something wrong or inappropriate there, I have to own that. I hope I didn't, but I think we have to think about those things when we have these conversations, even if we're emotional about them. I don't have a good conversational segue to Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, other than pointing out that the month is 30 days long, so you don't have to at the end of this read.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's not a great segue today. We'll be better tomorrow. This is the time, though, to replace your drafty, old, stinky, creaky windows. You don't do it during the dead of winter when it's 50 below and you got cold air flowing in and out. Do it now. Pella has a great deal going on. Pay as low as $19 a month per window, $75 a month on patio doors. The installation is completed with no mess and no hassle, and you leave nothing but perfect results behind. Visit PellaWI.com today. 6.9% APR financing for 120 months. Certain restrictions do apply. See showroom for details.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. I know we've already got calls lined up. You can also
text in. I want to check in on Erica today. I'm nervous about Erica.
Yeah.
Hopefully she checks in with us.
844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
You're just going to have to live with it. That's what I told myself. And if you can believe it, that's what the doctors told me.
Since Andy was a boy, he had health issues, which later we would find were primarily due to his trouble breathing. So for 36 years, Andy lived with about 85% blockage in his nose. He had to breathe through his mouth, because when he tried to breathe through his nose, it felt like he was being suffocated. It affected his sleep, his work life, and his ability to play sports. And he wasn't going to let it ruin his life anymore. So he came to Advent. As bad as it was, his problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty and turbinate reduction. Procedures you won't find offered by big box healthcare. This is Dr. Madan Kandula. It's definitely possible that your nasal breathing problems have a simple solution too. You can hear Andy's story in his own words at AdventKnowsAndy.com and begin on your path to breathing well and living better.
AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit ForwardHealthyLifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
Greetings, ESPN listeners. This is Matt Anderson with Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. I want to personally thank everyone for making our 25th summer amazing. The Big Backyard at Maddie's hosted over 100 catered parties and live music events, and we are just getting warmed up as we turn the corner into another great Wisconsin sports season. Our 18-foot LED wall, combined with Maddie's signature hospitality, culinary and spirits expertise, and amazing space makes this your ultimate destination for all things sports this fall. I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
Catholic Memorial plays on 94.5 ESPN.
35-30 down the right sideline. He's going to go. Opening kickoff return for a touchdown. Marvinus Butler.
On Friday night, the Crusaders hit the road to take on the Wauwatosa East Red Raiders. Gabe Neitzel and Mike Padole have coverage right here on 94.5 ESPN starting at 6:30 Friday. Catholic Memorial Football on 94.5 ESPN is brought to you by R&R Insurance, BC Adhesives, KMI Construction, Lake 5 Landscape Supply, Home Sealed Exteriors, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Curative Care Network.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Jesse, how many phone lines do you have in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios?
I have 10 phone lines available for fans to call.
So there's a couple of lines open, but
not many.
But only a couple. So let's get to your calls right away. I don't know about you, Tausch. I'm super eager to hear these different calls because I guess I didn't anticipate the response that we're getting.
Yeah, I did, and I think I'm intrigued by the differentiation because I don't have any problem with Packer fans looking at it from the Packers' perspective and what it means.
I
no
agree.
problem at all. But it's the vitriolic hatred that I have, like, why?
Yeah.
That's the part that It's one thing when you're rooting against him, he's playing against your team, but why if you just see someone that you know is crushed with a devastating injury? That's the part that I'm really intrigued by. So
all right.
We'll see what this other call
Let's go. And everyone, we're like Disney World. There are certain opportunities to get a fast pass. Tausch was very concerned about our friend Erica in Milwaukee.
Nervous for her.
And she did call. She was not the very first caller, but close enough. So we will fast track her to It's a Small World. Erica, good morning. Seriously, how you doing today?
This one's rough, and I guess it totally hasn't sunk in yet. Because I'm like, oh, it's Rodgers, cripes. He's going to be fine. Just get something fixed and you get back out there. So what's funny is I've been checking social media like crazy, trying to see if there's any more details or anything like that. But it doesn't seem. It seems like he's done for the season. So it's still kind of surprising. I guess I hope he's not done for his career though, because like I said, I don't have any problems with him. I mean, he's been a Packer forever, and it is what it is. But people have hated him since day one, and I guess maybe that's why I've liked him, because he never really got Jesse, for example, bought his Vikings jersey. I'm sure he probably wore it in front of him. But so that's why I've never hated him, because I'm like, well, people hated him from day one before he even put a Packers jersey on. So I guess that's why I'm a fan of him. So hopefully he's not done for his career, because that's a sad way to end it. And, yeah, I saw people on social media we lost the first pick in the draft this year or next year, and everybody's all bent out of shape about that. Well, I guess let's have some TLC towards somebody who probably just hurt themselves in a hardcore way.
Well, we're glad that you're processing it because we know how much of a fan of his you are. I would say this, Tausch, and thanks for the call, Erica. We're glad you checked in. I understand as you put it, the differentiation of the person versus the impact it has on the favorite team of yours that you cheer for. I get that. But I do feel like you can at least put yourself in the position of think about what this guy, think about whatever it was that you've been really excited about in your life, a new thing that you've been doing, a new job, a new whatever. Like, you could definitely tell that this was something that he was all in and excited about. Now, if that pisses you off because you felt like he wasn't that way last year, I totally get that too. But think about getting like 2 minutes into your new dream job you're all excited about, or whatever it is, and it's over.
Yeah.
Like, when you put it in that thought process, and again, our jobs are different than his and all that other stuff, but I mean, it was 3 plays.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Rob in Mount Horeb. Rob, good morning. How are you today?
My brain has got a lot of thoughts going. First of all, I didn't agree with what Rodgers did, some of the times and things like that. But I think we got to remember he's a human being, and we need to treat him like a human being, and, we got to have some compassion. And it's sad when I hear what people are saying about that, because it just tears me apart, because he's a person. We got to give a human being respect. And he gave us a lot as a Packer fan. We should be thankful for that. And he was happy. What's wrong with that? And the last thing is, I'm going to pray for him that he gets better quick and he plays again. Yeah. And that's all I have to say. We have to have compassion and respect for a human, and forget about the football part of it. Forget about that. He's a human being. Treat him like a human being, and give him some respect. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Rob.
That's a good call. But again, whenever people say that forget about the football part. Well, the football part's why you care.
Right.
You wouldn't know Aaron Rodgers. So it's okay to say, listen, he was a football player. I loved watching him play. He brought me, my family together, enjoyment. There's a reason that football players are as popular as they are, and especially star quarterbacks. So that part, no problems with. And you can be irritated with him, but I think if you're not a Packers fan, if you're a Vikings fan or Bears fan, I'm not talking to you. It's more the Packer fan where, man, the last year sucked. No question. It was irritating. I can understand why you're frustrated with him. I get all that.
Yep.
But there's a lot of great memories that he put in and gave you as fans. And I don't think this is some vast majority of people. I don't want to put everybody into one bucket. But it was just, again,
it's bigger than I wish it was. Bigger than I wish it was.
And it was just more vitriolic than I ever imagined. When he's going through a pretty tough time.
Right, and Tausch, we've said this before on the show. We're all complex human beings. You should be able to hold 2 thoughts in your head at the same time. Both, I'm really glad he's gone. I'm glad that he's not the quarterback anymore. I'm excited about Jordan Love, and I didn't like how he handled last year, and feel crummy for him. You can move. Those are not mutually exclusive, and that was maybe my frustration and how people reacted as I watched it unfold last night. We have a ton of calls. Let's get to one more, and then we'll get to more. So if you're on hold, stay there. Let's go to Andre on his way to Appleton. Andre, good morning, buddy. How are you today?
Oops, sorry, guys. We lost Andre. He just dropped a moment ago.
Sorry, Andre. Let's go.
Went through Rosendale. Not great reception through Rosendale.
Yeah, I got to say, you could skip 26 now. Just
Well, now 26 last time I went up there was closed. Well, 26 was closed last time I went up there.
Jesse, do we have Dustin in Waukesha?
I got 9 phone lines full, but yes, we do have Dustin in Waukesha.
Good morning, Dustin.
Howdy,
how are
morning,
you
guys. Oh, I'm doing all right. Look, I think the whole NFL as a fan base is going to just get to miss watching him. See what happens, right? Even if you wanted to see him fail, you don't get to see that now. You don't get to see anything. And, yeah, of course, I wanted the 65% snaps, whatever. I saw a great quarterback, the new, era with Jordan Love on Sunday. So as a Packers fan, you should just be happy. You shouldn't be you shouldn't show how disgusting you are to, dance on somebody who's hurt, It doesn't make sense. But, and overall, we're just going to get to miss watching it. Whether watching him fail or succeed, we don't get to see it.
Yeah. I'm really glad you put it in that context, Dustin, because I agree. Like, I was very much fascinated to follow the parallel tracks of the 2023 Packers and the 2023 Jets from a purely football fan perspective who enjoys storylines. Yes, quarterback wins. I was really eager to see how. I mean, I don't usually. I listen to Kevin Harlan on the call of Monday Night Football when I do my Uber driving for Maddie's Ballet. I brought my iPad with me specifically so I could watch the game while sitting in the parking lot, and it lasted 3 snaps. And then I kept watching to see if there would be an update that said he had a high ankle sprain, thinking it wasn't going to be the case. And now it sounds like it wasn't. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We need to take a break. We will get to more of your calls on Aaron Rodgers, likely done for the season with a ruptured Achilles suffered last night on his opening series as a New York Jet. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. Fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin plays at an MVP level. They came in ahead of time, make sure they had all of the measurements. When the Pella people left, you had no idea they had been here. You just had the new window. They're great professionals, Gina, and some of the best in the world at what they do.
Right now, pay as low as $19 a month per window or $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today.
$6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 9/30/2023.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Well, test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as simple as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI. That's code WI at prizepicks.com/WI for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
This is the year to buy the woman you love a big anniversary diamond.
What's a big anniversary diamond?
A big anniversary diamond is any diamond that's at least twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Why twice as big?
A big anniversary diamond says, I love you twice as much today as the day I married you.
People are always so happy when they see the price we can give them.
Kessler's has wonderful prices on 1 carat, carat and a half, 2 carat, and 3 carat big anniversary diamonds.
People will ask you about your big diamond everywhere you go.
So big anniversary diamonds are the hot new trend?
It began with men buying big anniversary diamonds for the women they love, but now it's gone to a whole new level.
Women are now buying big anniversary diamonds for their men.
Women are saying 2 can play that game.
I like games that 2 can play.
Everybody likes games that 2 can play.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. Hop in or hop online at uwcu.org to join. The Wisconsin Badgers football team now 1-1 on the season after a loss at Washington State on Saturday night. This now marks the second straight year that the Badgers have lost to the Cougars in the home-and-home series. Here's head coach Luke Fickell after his first loss at the University of Wisconsin.
I got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, that's a good football team that came to play tonight. And I told our guys in the locker room afterwards that they outplayed us. I don't know what more you can say about it. I thought we came out the second half. We found out a little bit more about ourselves. We obviously did not play very well in the first half.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
New York Jets quarterback and former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers' season is almost certainly over with a ruptured Achilles. That has not officially been confirmed, but what Robert Saleh said last night certainly indicated that that's fully the expectation. How do you feel? As a Packers fan, as a Rodgers fan, as somebody who doesn't like Rodgers? I just want to reiterate before we get to more calls, I want this to be a place where everyone's opinion is welcome. So I understand you may not have the same feelings about him as Tausch and I or Jesse or anybody else does. So I want you to be able to express that. My issue and Tausch's issue, the level of vitriol directed toward him was, it took me, I was blown away by it, frankly.
A gasp? Were you
aghast? Yes. I just, even discounting it as being somewhat on social media, the texts that I got from friends of mine that were dancing on his figurative football grave, I was like,
who?
oh my God.
Let's name names. Who was it?
We should, but we won't. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Andre, who is still heading toward Appleton, but has found cell service again. Andre, you with us this time?
Oh, no.
Near Wapaka. But I want to say I listen to your show all the time. I've heard you on all of the shows this morning. And, yeah, you're on your soapbox, but that's all right. You're still keeping your journalism ethics, and I'm proud of you. But I have mixed feelings. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, and I got calls from people last night, family members who knew I was a fan, like, oh, look what happened to your boy. Look what happened to your boy. And they were glad, and it made me sad, but I understand where they're coming.
Yeah.
And it's a good call.
It was. And
I don't want to speak for Andre, but since Andre can't speak for himself because his cell service is poor, Wapaka, tough area for cell service?
It's part of the potato corridor.
Pesky. Yeah.
Tough.
I would say, again, I get that, right? If your gut reaction, like Andre's friends or family who were calling him saying, hey, look at what happened to your boy, I get that there is a guttural, this guy really ticked me off for what he did to my football team or for how he played or for whatever else, Tausch. But I just want people to take a beat, a breath, and say, all right, no matter how strongly I feel about him, it still sucks. And I need to be a little bit better in my... That's all. You can still be an anti-Aaron Rodgers, I don't want him to do well in New York. But the added layer of this is the 65%.
You can have the I don't do well in New York. It's the I'm glad this happened to him. That's the part that I can't get my head wrapped around. You don't have to root for him. You could say, I hope he stinks. I hope he has a terrible season. But the fact that he's writhing on the ground with no Achilles and his season and everything is dashed, you can at least say, you know what, I don't care. All right, I don't care. All right, fine. That's great. But the vitriol and the hatred, I don't get my head wrapped around it. It's not like he's stealing money out of your pockets or he's going in and, like, looting your stores. Like, I don't understand. He's not doing that. That's the part I can't get my head wrapped around that much emotion. I can't.
At some point, you know who I do want to check in with? Big Cat, Joshy. Because there has been no one who has been more vocal in his disdain and dislike for Aaron Rodgers on our team, our little group chat, than him. I would like to.
He's gonna have to wait. We got.
Yes, maybe we'll have Joshy on in the fourth hour of Wilde and Tausch a little bit later in the show.
The Badgers outsider just told me he's waiting in the lobby unless he got bumped today, and I'm not sure what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
there
he's gonna probably get bumped. I think we bump Badgers outsider. Get him on tomorrow. He's probably gonna be
for the first time. For the first time in Wilde and Tausch history, all 10 phone lines are filled.
Well, let's get to him.
Let's take a break. Stay where you are.
Oh, take a beat. Take a beat.
Well, I'm just trying to manage the clock as best I can, man. We will get to all your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde, and for years and years, I've been telling you about Boucher Automotive and how they ride with us and you every mile. But over the past year, Boucher has been hard at work improving their sales processes, expanding and remodeling their facilities, and investing in new technology and continuing their commitment to better serving their customers, their employees, and their community. And that's why at Boucher, when their customers leave the dealership, they hope they've made a customer for life. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, they've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. They are proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. So check them out at Boucher.com.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Big players show up in big games. Donald Driver and Cousins subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery now through Sunday, September 24th on any order of $20 or more. Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins subs. We believe in better.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you'll always find great deals. Right now, get even greater savings store-wide with our lowest prices of the year. Like 50-pound bonus bags of Blaine's brand black oil sunflower seed, just $24.99. That's a 50-pound bag at a 40-pound price. $10 off Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed while supplies last. And Mother's brand California Gold clay bar car detailing kits, just $20.99. Shop Blaine's Farm and Fleet's lowest prices of the year in-store or online and pick up your order in our drive-thru in just 1 hour.
The Waukesha Gun Club offers the perfect outdoor activity this weekend. Stop out and learn to shoot at one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs. The Waukesha Gun Club features sporting clay courses, trap, and skeet ranges. Safety personnel will be on site to help answer your questions. Make plans now to enjoy the beautiful fall weather at the Waukesha Gun Club, just 1 mile north of I-94 at exit 295. Get more info at waukeshagunclub.org. Learn to shoot this weekend at the Waukesha Gun Club. Stop out and try something new.
The Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission is inviting high school seniors and those recently graduated to consider applying for police aide or fire cadet positions. Gain experience, earn tuition reimbursement, and set yourself up for a high-earning career in the criminal justice or fire science field. For more, visit city.milwaukee.gov/FPC. That's city.milwaukee.gov/FPC. Also text 414-519-6190 for more information.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
All right, I want to get to as many calls as I can, so be brief, be brilliant, and be done so everybody can get their turn. 844-770-3776. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers' apparent season-ending ruptured Achilles last night on his third play as a Jet. Let's go to Mike in Texas to start. Mike, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got?
Good morning. Thank you. Well, at first, when Rodgers left, I was glad to see him go. I became not a fan. But I can't help but think and feel, what is he thinking, feeling right now? What that feeling must be like. He was so happy, so optimistic. He seemed to have changed. That feeling it's a feeling I can't believe that people can't think that and what that must feel like.
Yeah, and I the point about Tausch, him being so happy, like, again, if you're a Packers fan, you don't have to feel happy for him to feel happy. You could be pissed that he seems so happy in New York and he seemed so unhappy a year ago. But the idea of putting yourself in that position and thinking about how you'd feel, I don't feel like that's that big of an ask. And maybe it stops a little bit of vitriol. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Pat in Madison. Pat, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Well, good morning. I'm a football fan. NFL fan specifics, and I just have a total appreciation for the guys getting out there, putting themselves at risk, and sure, they'll make more in 2 games than I'll make in a lifetime, but it's not the issue. It's being human and being decent to people. That's. I think we should all come back to that, and if you went and orbited the Earth and looked back and say, what's the big problem down there? This isn't one of them.
Right.
So people got to learn how to be human again and just, really relate to their fellow humans, and, Aaron Rodgers is one of us, and gave us a great time. Some sad ones too, but hey, take the lumps. But no, wonderful guy. I grew up dedicated Packer fan. Grew up in Deep Ear, Wisconsin, and really appreciate everything they get out there and do. And they give us some great times and a reason to cheer.
Amen to that. Thanks for the call, Pat. Tausch, I would just say this, and I think you feel it when there are moments like there was at the in the fourth quarter of that Patriots-Packers preseason game, and it's easy to not think in those terms, but like, you guys really do put yourselves at risk. And I know you everybody makes a ton of money playing in the league and everything else, but every single time that happens, you are reminded about the dangers of the sport you play.
Yeah, it's tough, and we all know that. We sign up for it, and it's highly competitive, and you're going to get your heart ripped out, whether it's on the field or off the field. There's going to be moments that suck. Aaron is going through it. He's had a couple of other moments that have sucked, and he's had more glorious moments too. That's not really the issue. It's more, you know that going in. You sign up for it. You deal with it. It's some of the other stuff that I think is just – that's the part that I think we don't know and don't sign up for, and you hope that people don't look at in the way that we saw some Packer fans react last night.
Let's keep going with the calls. And again, if you have a dissenting opinion from we need to be better to each other, I'm okay with that. I want to hear you give your take, whatever it might be. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Sean in Hartford. Sean, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? Yeah, one of those mornings. You know, last night when the Jets game came on, I was excited to watch it. My wife says, "Oh, so you're a Jets fan now?" And I did the Randy Moss. I said, "Are you kidding me? This is freaking Aaron Rodgers. I got to watch."
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how it's been. You know, we've had Brett Favre, we've had Aaron Rodgers, and you know, you watch Aaron Rodgers having fun and enjoying himself in New York. And I'm 58 years old. I'll tell you what, anytime you have the chance to get a second win and enjoy life to a point where it starts to get you down and all of a sudden you get that second win and that feeling like, hey, you know what, I'm young again. I can do this. I can hang out with the young guys. I can have fun in a game I love. How can you look at that guy and think he's bad? I mean, we all want that second win. We all want that. Now you look at Elway and Manning going out on the white horse, and Brett Favre got screwed by the Saints. He possibly could have been that same guy going out on the white horse. And, you know, look at this season. I know it's the first game, but you watch Cincinnati, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and the Jets. They have a chance this year. So the Jets, they could have gotten there, I'd say, with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if they're going to get there without him, but it would sure have been fun to watch. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. You know, we're worried about now we're getting a second-round pick. Think about it like this. When Jordan Love was drafted, everyone was upset that that's who we picked for our first-round pick. Guess what? He was our first-round pick, and now we can rejoice in the fact that he is a first-round pick that we have to replace Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, for 3 years, you weren't getting anything out of that first-round pick. There's no denying that. Thanks for the call, Sean. We appreciate it. 844-770-3776. I do think one of the reactions can be the selfish feeling of, I was really looking forward to this season, like you said earlier, of watching him play and watching the Packers play and just following those two parallel tracks all season long. And Sean's wife,
for you, I think that's... Yeah, actually, Vinny on Wisconsin's Morning News this morning said that'll be one of the things that's a plus, is that you don't do that. You can't make those comps. You can't do that from a Packer fan standpoint. Yeah. I totally agree.
He's right. That's a good point.
And, by the way, you can – I guess this is the part that I have a hard time getting my head wrapped around. You can differentiate and separate. You don't want Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl with the Jets. I totally get that. But you don't root and say – you deserve this, and you deserve to blow your Achilles out and not play. There's two big differences there.
Right.
I think most Packer fans are saying, yeah, I don't want Aaron Rodgers to go and win a championship and have the same amount of titles as he had here. That is not the same thing as saying, good for him. There's differences, a little nuance.
Let's keep going with the calls. A little overwhelmed by the number of calls, quite frankly. Jesse, keep up. You're doing yeoman's work over there in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios.
I need a Coors Light.
You could get a Coors Light and a Tito's coming up here in the program. Let's go one more call for this hour, and then we'll keep going next hour. Let's go to Casey in Madison. Casey, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us?
Hey, guys. Thanks for the call. So I'll start off by saying I'm a big Rodgers supporter. I've always supported him, but I did find the past year it was harder and harder to keep supporting him.
You and me both, brother.
With that being said, yeah, I listened to your show this morning, your little speech, and I completely agree with you guys, and it made me feel guilty because when I saw Rodgers sit back down, my first thought as a Packer fan was, there goes our first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a personal thing or a karma thing. It was just, as a Packers fan, what's good for business is getting a first-round pick.
Right.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with you,
Totally
Casey, thinking that way.
Totally see that. Yeah, that's all part of the deal.
Thanks for the call, and thanks for the honesty. We appreciate you, Case. Let's sneak one more in because we've got so many of them. Let's go to Eric in Chicago with my great clock management.
Look at you.
I'm also, Tausch, I'm not going to lie, there's part of me that is hoping that while there may be differentiating opinions on this, there is also a part of me that I kind of want to have my faith in humanity restored a little bit after how I was feeling last night.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it as well. Let's go to Eric in Chicago. Eric, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you, bud?
I'm doing well. Good morning, guys. So first of all, I just wanted to say, Wilde, I enjoyed your good theater to start off the show with the comments and the emotion. I think it'd be great, and I thought it was cool that your daughter sent Rodgers some text messages. I think it'd be cool to see if he responds back at some point, but I'm sure he's got a lot on his plate right now.
Yeah, he just got.
And secondly,
by the way, just 1 second, Eric, just so I can update everyone that's not directly on Twitter. The MRI has confirmed both via Tom Pelissero and Adam Schefter. He did indeed tear his Achilles. His season is over. So we knew that was coming, but that is now confirmed. All right, go ahead, Eric. Sorry to interrupt.
So I enjoyed that, and we'll see what he does if he responds. But secondly, I was always a Rodgers supporter and fan. I was looking forward to seeing the teams and the season shake out this year. And it's like all this drama and theater that you guys had on the show and leading up to the Rodgers leaving. It's like you go to a theater and now you're not going to be able to see the end of the show because of what just happened. So I felt awful for him. It's a little disappointing. And, I just hope he can rebound and come back next year. But, we won't see the drama and theater play out this year. It's unfortunate. And I hope he gets well.
Yeah, amen to that. Tausch, do you have teammates or friends that went through Achilles injuries? Like, I remember Edgar Bennett going through it and saying how difficult it was. Now, that was in, 1997. You did 2 ACLs. How bad is an Achilles from what you know from teammates or friends who went through it?
Yeah, there's been teammates. As a matter of fact, there's a pickleball buddy that ripped his Achilles. Golf, it happens in golf. It is a brutal injury, especially as you get older because everything starts tightening up anyways. For anyone that gets older, you're just not as bendy as you used to be. So that Achilles, you have to suture it back together, and it shortens, and it makes it stiffer. So you have to go through a grueling process of trying to elongate it again. And you have to stay off of it, and you're atrophied your muscles, and it sucks. It's not something you want to do. But it is. People have recovered. There have been some players that have recovered and come back. I'm never going to say better than ever, but they have come back. It's, how much fortitude and how much will do you have and how much energy do you want to put back into it? Because it is going to be physically, I don't think Aaron will have any problem with it at all. It's going to be the mental climb, the challenge that's going to be at times overwhelming for him.
So the good news about Fortrea clinical trials is that they are not as grueling as a comeback from an Achilles, and you make some pretty good bank when you do them as well.
That's true. It used to be LabCorp. Now it's Fortrea. And even though the name has changed, they remain committed to bringing you the same great experience, professionalism, and new opportunities. It's just under a new name of Fortrea. And if you want to pick up a little extra cash, that Las Vegas game, it's a coming. You want to get out there. Fortrea's got a couple studies. Healthy adults ages 18 to 60. Body mass index of 18 to 32. That study involves 2 stays, totaling 15 nights with 7 follow-up visits, and you can grab yourself a $13,820 check for your time and participation, plus $300 per qualified participant. Go to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortrea, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
More of your calls. If you're on hold, stay there. 2 minutes. We'll start the 10 o'clock hour. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The Saganiac Planning Marquette Conference Championship moment last season. Big East regular season outright champs, a Marquette first ever. There's more at Marquette first ever Big East Conference tourney champs. St. John's, UConn, and Xavier all went down. The championship game was a blowout win. Add one more level of greatness. The win over UConn in the semis, UConn's last loss of the season. 2023 Marquette in the Big East won everything. champions. Homer here. After a year of uncertainty, most employers are reluctant to make changes to their health insurance plans. A level funding medical insurance plan may be the answer you've been looking for. Find out how a level funding plan can cut your costs. Again, level funding plan. For more information, call John Pearson at Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. John Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning and named synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, here in Milwaukee, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you, and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
I've been grinding so long, been trying it for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed.
Aaron Rodgers' season is over. 4 snaps, 3 official plays into his New York Jets career. He has ruptured his Achilles, and his season is over. Confirmation from Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network. So his season is over. The Jets apparently claiming, at least right now, that they will move forward with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback.
I got a crazy idea. You're not going to be shocked when I tell you who I think they should go get.
Kirk Cousins?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening to the Get Up crew this morning, and Tannenbaum, and Fox, and Woody, and the whole crew. And they're naming, like, Colin Kaepernick, who hadn't played in 8 years, and Robert Griffin III. He's sitting there, and he's like, well, I could do it, but I won't know the system. I'm like, nah, dude. Come on now. You're a media. It's over. Matt Ryan. Come on, bro. He's doing games. No, it's sitting right there. The Vikings are going to go into rebuild mode. Mm-hmm. They just lost a home game to Tampa.
Yeah.
So that's the same system, the Shanahan system. If I'm old boy today, whoever the GM, Douglas. Unfortunately, I know his name because we spent hours and hours talking.
We might have mentioned him once or twice, yes.
I'm calling up the Minnesota Vikings and saying, what is it going to take for us to get Kirk? They don't want him anymore. They didn't extend him. They're going younger. I think they may be going into, dare I say, tank mode. If they do, yeah. If I'm the Jets, I make that call today, and I am not going to leave that. I'll say I'd be willing to give up. I don't know what picks they'd need.
Well, they've got next year's first. They won't be giving that to the Packers. I would say this. I was hoping they would call Tom.
If I'm the Jets, I'm saying I want their left tackle. Their left tackle is a stud. If I'm stud.
If I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm saying you're not trading me there unless I also get to take the left tackle with me. Because I don't know who as a quarterback wants to work there right now after what we saw yesterday. 844-770.
Chicago.
I guess slightly.
If we're being fair.
They're not very good either. 844-770-3776. Thanks to everyone who held on. Let's get back to the phone lines. Let's go to Trevor in Nashville. Trevor, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. So I just want to say Rodgers playing is good for the league all around. People love him. People hate him. People love him and hate him. So with Rodgers not playing, and I hate to go money here, but the NFL is going to lose out on millions and millions of dollars. My question is, does this injury happen if the Jets and Giants would have just put in a grass field? And is this going to be an eye-opener to the need to do that? How many more players are we going to lose to a field turf?
I will say this, Trevor. This is when other people were reacting however they were reacting to the Rodgers injury. The first thing David Bakhtiari tweeted was not, I love my brother, or it was, this is a turf injury, right? He reacted very quickly to that. And by the way, this was also, as you point out, the Giants played a primetime game the night before on that same turf, and then it rained all day. I do think it's fair to question the safety of artificial turf. Tausch, you played in the NFL. I didn't. Where do you stand on this? Because the one thing that we've always talked about is that when quarterbacks and stars are affected by things, that's when things change.
So the NFL's not going to lose any money on this. Now, will they lose some ratings on Jets games? Yes.
Right.
NFL's doing fine, so let's not worry too much about the coffers of the 32 teams in the NFL. That is not, I don't think, a relative point. It's time for the players to say we've had enough. The owners of these stadiums are putting grass in when the soccer federation teams are coming.
Correct.
So they know these big boy clubs, Arsenal and whatever other, I don't know what these teams are.
Manchester United, Manchester City.
They're coming and they won't play on turf because it causes more injuries. Every study shows it. So it's time. The NFL is a booming business. They're making billions of dollars.
Correct.
Replace the turf fields. Be done with this foolishness. Players, they've done a great job. J.C. Treader, he has done a fantastic job of bringing this point. David Bakhtiari's pounding it home.
Mm-hmm. Joe Thomas.
The idea that they can't do this, it can be done. And it needs to be done. Don't tell me, well, we have too many other events. This is your main event. And if you don't want to do it, build a different stadium. Like, I think this whole idea of that this shouldn't be the case, players have said it. Players should hold on it and say, we're not doing it, because I don't understand from an owner's standpoint. You know, Woody Johnson today, now, whether or not he would have popped his Achilles or not, I don't know that.
Correct.
But as somebody, I saw David getting into it with Twitter Doc's like, you don't know that. The guy was on his feet. David basically said, what's the one thing you can control? You can't control if the left tackle gets beat and a guy ends up coming in sacking him from the back. You can't. But you can control having grass. And anybody that's paid attention, grass is more forgiving. And there's less injuries. The studies have shown it. So it's time these owners that are making mitts full of money and their franchise value is gone exponentially up, it's time for them to say, I'm investing Joe Burrow $200 million in guarantees. I want him to play. And, yeah, he might blow his knee out, but I don't want it to be because I got crap turf on my field. So this idea, it needs to go. It's got to be done. It's got to be.
844-770-3776. Let's go to Kamal in Madison. Kamal, long time no talk, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you guys? So when it happened, I immediately pulled out my calculator and, put 0.65 times 17, got 11. I was like, okay, he's got an ankle. No big deal. This will probably get still get the first round. That was my mindset. But as soon as, went on Twitter Doc, and saw the pop, I was like, oh my God. And my heart sank for the guy. So my point, I think, my takeaway from all this, I know we have like the vitriol and stuff, but that's kind of, we live in that space right now with Twitter and all that. So
I wish we didn't, but you're right, we do.
Yeah. But I think the irony of all of this is I really believe that he's now he's back in the good graces of the Packer fans. Sadly, the way it happened, but I think we're all, rooting for him now. And whereas before yesterday, I don't think we were. I also want to just say the whole thing about the grass and the turf, 100%. I mean, I don't know why they don't put him in the CBA. That's just ridiculous. If I was a player, I would just be, holding firm to that.
Yeah, and again, I think the CBA, that's a whole different conversation because getting guys that may only last a couple of years in the league, they need to make the money when they have the chance. It's never going to work that way.
1,800 players will never beat 31 billionaires. It just won't. Right. And for all of us that have said, you're just not going to beat him. You have to pick your battles. And money, we try to get as much money as we can. Those are the battles that we try to pick.
Thanks for the call, Kamal. We appreciate it. 844-770-3776.
So, Jason, do you think – I actually kind of agree with Kamal there. I think that vitriol bubble popped last night. I think most reasonable people, even if they're on Twitter or anywhere else and going hard, I think now it's more of I hope Aaron rehabs and is able to get back out. You still don't ever want to see him win a championship with the Jets. I don't think any Packer fan does. But I do think just like a lot of times death – and something catastrophic or tragic that happens will unify people, I do think an injury like this will soften some of the anti-Rodgers sentiment that maybe there was and say, you know what, he was pretty dang good for a long time. I had not thought of that. That's the first time when Kamal brought that up. I kind of was thinking, you know what, I think most reasonable people are probably like, yeah, I don't need him to be like, where he can never – go do anything, walk and anything else because this Achilles doesn't rehab. I think most of us would love to see him get back up on his feet, and if he decides to chase down another NFL season, to go do it. And then not win with the Jets again.
Yes. Wherever you would like their season to end, I think most Packers fans would agree with you. It would be not with a Super Bowl championship.
For sure.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We'll get to more of your calls. Tausch, tell us about Tito's. This would be more a drowning your sorrows for some, and sadly, there were probably some that were toasting as well.
Yeah, and you know what? You can take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You could win game day gear, maybe even a scarf, for your next gathering by entering to win at Tito'sTailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate Back Tap for batched cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit Tito'sTailgate.com. Must be 21 to enter. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
More of your calls, so if you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Hey, folks, if you're like me, this is your favorite time of the year. Not only is it football season, it's Chevy truck season, too. You can go from watching great tackles on the gridiron to tackling any challenge that comes your way with the strength, trailering, and off-road capability of the powerful Chevy Silverado. So don't miss Chevy truck season and take advantage of exciting offers available right now. See your local Chevy dealer and visit WisconsinDriveChevy.com.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit SummitIWI.com.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos?
Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
I've been living with the snoring problem nearly my entire life. In fact, I can remember my mother teasing me, saying that I'd snore so loudly that the walls of our house would cave in with each breath.
Fast forward only recently, when Jessica's snoring forced her husband out of their bed and into another room. It's a pretty common situation. We call it a sleep divorce, and that's not good. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent. After Jessica had a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, we found that her snoring problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it works. You won't find it offered by Big Box Healthcare, but you will find it at Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available. You can hear more of Jessica's story at adventknowsjessica.com and take your first step towards breathing well so you can live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
For those of you that were tuning in for Derek Blakesley, the Badgers outsider.
Oh, a lot to talk about with him, too.
We do, no doubt. But we have sent him home.
Well, he's going to Algoma.
Class is canceled for the remainder of the day.
We are going a different direction than we normally do on Tuesdays. I am really eager. We do love Derek around here, and we're excited to reschedule with him this week. I know he has an actual job with PDS, and he does our program out of the kindness of his heart and because he likes the sound of his own voice. But we will reschedule and have him on hopefully a little, maybe even tomorrow. But we appreciate him understanding that this is a pretty big story and that there are lots of people that want to be heard on it. I'm sure he does too.
Lines. This is nuts.
Yeah.
Why is it nuts? Yeah, let's go. Let's get to it.
Well,
Chop.
I'm sorry, I was answering the phone. Because when we have Packers losses that are, like when they lost to the 49ers in that NFC divisional round a couple of years ago, like that was a devastating loss. We took a bunch of calls that day. Like the reaction and how everybody wants to hop in this way talking about this breaking news is it amazes me because he's not even a Green Bay Packer right now. And for everyone who says that they don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers,
right,
this is something.
The juxtaposition against what we had for the previous several months of people yelling at us for talking about him, it is interesting. 844-770-3776. More of your calls. Let's talk to Kevin in, I always get this wrong, Mundelein, Illinois? Mundelein? Kevin, good morning. How are you today?
Don't know Illinois.
That's correct. Home of Ben Brush.
Okay, sorry. I think we're having trouble with our connection. Can barely hear. No, I'm kidding. What do you got, Kevin?
So, real quick, Jason, your thoughts at the beginning of the show, I have no problem with that. You were very close to the fire there, so I get that. That's not a big deal. When I saw this happen, the first thing I thought of, being an old high school football coach, is he's not a young guy, and this is going to take a long time than most guys would to have a shot at recovering from this. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, as far as the people that were happy that this happened, so-called Packer fans, they actually should have been really upset because, when it comes down to it, there goes the first-round pick. The people that are going to be happy about this and are high-fiving are Bears, Lions and Vikings fans because there goes the first pick. And the other thing is, they're all keyboard warriors. Like you said earlier, they don't have the stones to confront anybody and tell them to their face. And off topic a little bit, guys, the next time you see and/or talk to Matt, tell him to put that option play in his pocket. Because when I saw that play develop to the boundary, I'm like, that's a great way to get your quarterback killed playing at that high level. And going to your left, he has no shot at defending himself. So he needs to put that baby in his pocket. If I see that again, you'll be talking about me driving up there and confronting him about it.
I love the old high school football coach in you. That was a conversation we had in the press box of, are we ever going to see that again? I hope not, because it was not. It was ugly. That's for sure. Maybe you could coach him up on how to run that a little more effectively, though. Maybe there's a version of it that's a little less perilous for Jordan Love. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Jeff in Minneapolis. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
How are you guys?
Good. What do you got for us?
So I'm just going to give me 2 to 3 minutes. First of all, I just want to preface this by saying that anybody that was kind of happy that Aaron Rodgers got injured, that's actually kind of disgusting. I mean, nobody wants nobody wants somebody to get hurt, like their season to end, and to be happy that his season ended because he got hurt is, to take gratitude in that is kind of pathetic. So that's my overall feeling about that. I also want to say that, I understand how people, are fed up with them, and I get all that, but those are two different things, and you end up comparing apples and oranges, Jason, you have a personal relationship with a guy, so there's no way that the average fan can appreciate all the nuances of the guy like the way you can. So,
agreed.
You can't expect him to. What I've seen is this. I've seen the fact that I've got to watch a Hall of Fame player for many, many years, add a lot of enjoyment to my life and to the team, and he was outstanding. I've also seen, and I just need to be fair about this, in the last several years, his behavior, I'm not saying him as a person, but his behavior has been disingenuous. His behavior has been manipulative. I think he's actually manipulated you guys. He manipulates the press. There's no question about it. And, it hasn't been his best day, put it that way, over the last several years. Having said all that, to be happy that that he has a season-ending injury for any reason, personally towards him, is actually kind of sad. So that's my overall thoughts, and I just wanted to share them with you. And I appreciate you guys creating the forum for people to talk.
Yes, we're happy to do it. Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you. Tausch, I would just say this, and this is neither here nor there, but my personal relationship with him doesn't change the fact, for instance, that I am supremely frustrated with him that he repeatedly said he was going to do the show again, and then it never happened. That pisses me off. And it's okay to feel that way, for me, on a personal level and on a professional level, because it was fun when we did that. And every time he said he was going to do it, and then we didn't make it happen, pissed me off. But again, the idea of him doing things that you disagree with or dislike and then leading to you feeling the way some people felt yesterday, that's where I struggle. And you don't have to have a personal relationship with him to understand that we have to be better. That was all that my very long-winded rant. And I appreciate the people who've said nice things. I'm sorry that I did that, but let's keep going with calls instead. Let's go to Sue in Ohio. Sue, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. Sue. Okay, we don't have Sue.
Bye, Sue.
God, you wait that long on hold, and then we get to you. I'm sorry it took us so long to get to you,
tough.
Sue. Let's go. How about Jesse? How about Chris in Brookfield? Chris?
Morning, gentlemen. How's it going?
Good morning.
My first thoughts when I seen him get hurt was like, okay, it's an ankle. Maybe he's going to come out in the second half like he did against the Bears and come back and whoop them. But when I found out it was the Achilles tendon, my first thought was, oh, my God, who's the idiot that negotiated the percentage of how many plays he plays for us to get a first round?
Mm-hmm.
That was really disappointing that we're not going to get that. My second thought was, I sure hope it's not something that's going to end his career, that he can come back sometime in the future and play. But I totally have disliked the gentleman since 2018. I continue to be against the signing of him, his extension in 18, the way he threw McCarthy under the bus in 18. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it when they signed him to the ridiculous contract. And I've been on your show and made those statements. But other than that, I'd love to see him come back. Hopefully he can persevere and play. He's good for the NFL. He's good for the fans. But he became a deterrent for as far as the Packers and their growth. And I love the new steps they're going, but I wish him all the best. But other than that, my heart's not broken that he got hurt, other than we're going to miss the draft picks. But I do hope he has a good recovery, because I have no ill will against somebody who puts their health on the line to play a game for entertainment that means nothing in politics, just for our enjoyment, is willing to do that. And Mark, on the fields, I agree with you. The only problem is the NFL union isn't as strong as baseball, and they'll give in just to get some more dollars, and we've seen that under the last players' agreement.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Thanks for the call, Chris. Great call. And Chris nailed it. You can feel all the things that Chris feels. And also feel some empathy. They're not mutually exclusive.
You can feel however you want. I think if you're as vitriolic to say good riddance and all that, I don't expect people to want Aaron Rodgers to go lead the New York Jets to a championship. I don't want that. But I think when you look at this other stuff, that is, I thought what Chris just said there was really, really interesting, and I thought thoughtful. That he is just being honest about how he
and honest.
This.
Right. Amen. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. All right, so no Derek today.
No.
But that doesn't mean we can't talk briefly about our great partnership with his employer, PDS.
Thank you, PDS. PDS been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. And the great thing, Derek usually comes into the Everlight studios. He might be able to do this remotely the next time, because PDS is giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life. PDS wants to be your trusted partner in driving success with enterprise solutions, digital workplace platforms, and managed services that fit your needs. PDS Paragon Development Systems.
More of your calls straight ahead. Aaron Rodgers' season is over after 4 snaps for the New York Jets. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Well, test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as simple as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI. That's code WI at prizepicks.com/WI for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Freddie Coleman.
I know what Shannon Sharp was trying to say. I get it that he was of that moment because with Tyreek Hill, what he can do, the fact that he can go from 0 to 100 is unbelievable in a short amount of time and a short amount of space. But I'm going to be the one to throw the rock into that whole thing. They need a guy to not have a rock head when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. But for Tyreek Hill to be as scary or the scariest person in the league, according to Shannon Sharp,
you better touch the ball every play, in my opinion.
Well, either that or you better make sure your quarterback is around at the end of the year to get you the football, because you can't be scared the ball's not coming your way. And we saw what Patrick Mahomes was able to do with Tyreek Hill and without Tyreek Hill. We saw Tyreek Hill, he's been able to make Tua Tagovailoa. Not saying Tua Tagovailoa is a bad quarterback, but he's made him better because of that ability. But you can only do so much because Tua Tagovailoa was injured. All of a sudden, the ball wasn't coming his way.
It was the ideal marriage. Little did I know I was married to a man who had done something so horrible that it would devastate our lives forever.
Teacher of the Year is now charged with sex crimes.
Now streaming on Hulu.
He was living a double life.
The shocking story behind a #1 true crime podcast, Betrayal.
Prostitutes, escorts. He even cheated on me the week of our wedding.
Betrayal, the perfect husband.
He had a lot of fantasies.
Now streaming only on Hulu.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. The one-of-a-kind wood-fired flavor of a Traeger Ironwood XL grill. And football. That's right, Desmond Howard. Get fired up for the game in just a tap with Traeger's intuitive touchscreen. Then throw on your favorites and monitor the grill from anywhere with Wi-Fi technology. So you spend less time staring at the grill, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Four 770-3776. 844-770-3776. We still have a ton of calls, so those of you that have waited all this time, thank you for your patience and for your service. Let's get right back to them.
The texters are the real losers here today. Because there are so many.
Should we call people losers?
Well, if you're saying, like, no, okay, fair. There's probably a lot of other people in unfortunate situations than the texters to our show. There are so many texts to go through, and I haven't even had a chance to look at like any of them because of how many calls.
Can you put some up on the screen? Like, at least then we can.
What are you doing over there, man?
Like, what are you even doing? I don't understand what you're doing.
Would you like me to leave the video stream up as I take the calls? Would that make you feel better?
Yeah, we'd like to be able to see you taking calls. That's a great idea. I love it. 844-770-3776. Let's go to my favorite place, DeForest, Wisconsin. And let's welcome in Steve. Steve, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us?
Morning, guys. Great show.
Thanks.
All right, I've got two issues. One is...
I thought for a second that's all Steve was going to say.
Just take the compliment,
awesome
guys.
call.
Jeez.
Thanks, Steve. Two things. Number one, not many franchises can say they've had back-to-back NFL Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Favre and Rodgers like we have. But now that he's done for the season, if we compare the Favre situation going to the Jets and Rodgers going to the Jets, in which situation did the Packers get more value with their quarterback, ex-quarterback, going to the Jets? Was it Favre? Did we get more value from the Jets? Or was it Rodgers?
Rodgers, and it's not close.
Is that because Favre actually retired as opposed to Rodgers not retiring?
Yeah, I think it was because Brett Favre came back in the middle of training camp, and they weren't able to maximize what they were trying to get for him because they needed to get him the hell out of there so the season could continue without the colossal distraction of having him on the roster.
The commissioner stepped in.
And competing with Aaron Rodgers for the starting job or whatever was going to happen if he stayed. So, yeah, by getting it done in April before the draft, I mean, look, you saw Lucas Van Ness. I don't know if Lucas Van Ness is still there at 15 or not. We think the Jets would have taken an offensive lineman who was taken at 14, right? Right before they would have taken with the pick swap that Tausch talked about. So we saw him make a play on Sunday. We know that the Packers got a second-round pick that it would appear, I don't know which one's which, but both of their second-round picks this year, Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed, are people that the Packers are excited about. And now with this injury, they're going to get another second-round pick next year. Now, if it was a third-round pick, maybe you should be concerned, given the general manager's track record in that round. But he's picked some pretty good second-round picks. So they're going to get a lot for Aaron Rodgers compared to what they got for Favre, no doubt.
I agree totally. And then the other question is, in my mind, if he does not come back, if his career is truly over, as a true Packer fan, I feel kind of good that his NFL passing yardage 100% was as a Green Bay Packer because he never completed a pass as a Jet.
He did not.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
And my point is, did we dodge a bullet? If he would have been our Green Bay Packer quarterback this year, on the schedule for 2023, the Packer schedule, do the Packers play on a turf similar to where his injury took place last night?
Oh, good
so if
question.
He was playing for us. Do we play people this year who have a turf like that? And could it have happened as a Packer?
Right? No, fair.
Sure it could have.
Very fair. Now, again, we'll have to check in. I actually texted Bakhtiari. He would like us to continue talking about the turf part of this conversation, to which I said, we've got a lot of calls to get through first. But Atlanta is on turf.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, that's turf inside that, the Allegiant Dome, yes? No?
I think it's a grass mix. I think that is. I think
Okay.
they roll that in like they do in Phoenix. But
they're at Denver, that's grass.
Mm-hmm.
They are at Pittsburgh, that's grass.
Yep.
They are at Detroit, that is definitely turf, although I think they changed the type of turf, if I remember reading that in the offseason, from the slit whatever to something else. But again, turf is turf. They play the Giants at this stadium on December 11th.
Mm-hmm.
They play at Carolina, that's grass, and then they play at Minnesota, that is turf as well inside of U.S. Bank Stadium. So that's the list of road games. So, yeah, maybe that Achilles was going to pop at some point this season, no matter who he was playing for. I would say, though, that was, like you mentioned, he had the guy on his foot that way. Like, that was a factor in that. It wasn't complete non-contact when it occurred. 844-770-3776. Let's go up to Plover and talk to our old friend Dennis, who has offered his audio splicing services to Jesse. So, Jesse, Dennis is looking for work. So if you're overwhelmed with calls and all your other responsibilities, just farm out your editing to him. He's willing to do it for free.
Sounds like
for
the
you.
Academy needs to hit up Dennis for what we're in store for this year.
Oh, good point. Good point. Hi, Dennis.
I've been far too busy fishing. Hey, and Jesse, you're busier than a one-legged cat in a litter box. Sorry.
Well,
Never heard that one before.
Tausch loves that sort of stuff. I'm not sure he
Trying to piece that
understood it.
together. Yep, I got it.
There's a big delay on the phone line, and sometimes when you say something on a call, there's like a 2-second delay, and you think to yourself, "Boy, did I say something stupid or what?" But anyway,
both can be true.
I could go on about. yeah, right. So anyway, when I first heard about Aaron Rodgers' injury, I was like, holy, you know what? And I was, oh, my God, and I can't believe this. And not once did I think, good for him. But then I started hearing some people on different shows and stuff talking about how maybe he kind of deserved it. And everybody has a little man on their left shoulder. And you have another one on your right shoulder. As you get older, the man on your left shoulder starts yelling louder and louder, and I can attest to that, and I fight that every day. So I'm going to admit that I put a karma post on Facebook, and I since deleted it. I'm not proud of it. I'm ashamed of it, and I just think that social media is totally dominated by the guy on everybody's left shoulder. And I don't know the cure for it. People just need to be better, including me. So that's all I got. And I hope he gets better and comes back and plays one more year so we can see how he does.
Dennis, I really appreciate your honesty on that, man. That's why we appreciate your loyalty and the guy you are. Thank you. Yeah, the left versus right, the devil and the angel on your shoulder. Hey.
Well, Jason, it reminds me a lot of, anytime you're doing things out of emotion, you're going to look back and say, boy, should I have said that? Should I? And it's how you feel, but that doesn't mean it necessarily always needs to be broadcast to the world.
Right. Agreed.
That's what Twitter, Facebook, and all these do. And, there's going to come a time, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole thing, it's made its impact on society. I don't think it's in a positive way. But it is what it is. And you can either play the game or you don't. But I do think just like players get that 10 or 15-minute cooling off period before reporters come in. And I always thought that was a really smart thing because you want to give answers. You want to be honest. But you also want to be able to collect yourself because you have a tough loss. You're going to end up saying some nasty stuff.
Right. Get your thoughts together.
You don't want to. So, yes, and I think all of us, not everybody is trained to do that. And that's the beauty of social media for the people that love it is it gets raw, it gets you in your truest form, which is the human being can be ugly. It can be ugly. And everybody has it. It's not that it's just, but it's the professionals in that industry that say things that's the part. Fans are going to spout off. That's always going to be the case, and we saw that last night. But there is something to take a deep breath before you post stuff, before you send it, before you do those things, because they have lasting impacts on a lot of things, people's lives and people's mental well-being.
We still have a ton of calls, and I want to get to everyone. I feel like we're performing a service today. So I want to get to, if you're on hold, stay there. If you want to call in, we still have another hour and 11 minutes of show to go. And the good news is, between calls and texts, I think we're going to get through the whole show without trivia.
Double trivia tomorrow, baby. Love it.
We are not doing double trivia tomorrow at the end of the show, however.
We might.
There's a place where I draw the line.
We got two guests scheduled tomorrow. It could get tight.
I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get double trivia at some point this week.
Why don't we do triple trivia Thursday? That sounds like it all rhymes too.
Are you off or something?
You are so greedy.
He is greedy.
No, it's not being greedy.
Greedy Williams. Yeah, that's him. All right, we will get some more of your calls. Look, I've been telling you about Gruber Law Offices now for a while. I hope you never need them. I do. I hope you never are in an accident. You're never seriously injured. You don't need Gruber Law Offices. But like I always say to David and his team and how much we appreciate their partnership, I also appreciate that they're there if I ever do need them. And that's the beauty of Gruber Law Offices. They are there to focus on all the legal challenges while you get to focus on healing if you have been seriously injured in an accident. They are family-owned. They're one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest, and they have the results that speak for themselves. So if you need their services, check them out. Gruber-law.com. That's Gruber-law.com. Or give them a call, 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. We've had way more than one call today, and we'll get to more of them next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at Tito'sTailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate back tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit Tito'sTailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey. Riding with you every mile since 1977.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
I'm here with Dr. Sam Steiner. How much do you enjoy being able to help someone through really the entire process of coming back from an injury?
I mean, I think it's something very special. It's something I look forward to every day, being able to wake up, see people from the time they're injured, and then take them all the way through the process of explaining what they've had done, taking care of them, in some cases operating on them, and then afterwards being able to see the recovery and see them get back to where they want to be.
It seems to me that there is a strong connection between patient and doctor here. Why is that?
Many of us grew up in the area. We went to high schools that we now take care of. I think it's really unique and special that we can take care of people we went to school with, their families, friends of our parents at our facility. It holds you accountable. They can literally say, hey, if you don't do a good job, I'm going to tell your mom. We really have something very special and unique here at OAW.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
From the tee box to the green and everything golf-related in between.
Same thing with Xander and Cantlay. Like those four, because you know you're just going to pair them together. Like those four are safe on this Ryder Cup team. They're safe in 2 years on that Ryder Cup team.
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Like JT and Spieth are still your horses. Like they are still your first team out.
On the tee with Gabe and Steven, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Mondays at 6 on 94.5 ESPN.
Brian, why are you stacking books on the floor?
I want to stand while I work. Standing desks are all the rage these days.
Well, it's a good thing that these desks move up and down. You did know that, right?
What? They do?
Yeah, we're not messing around here.
This is great. Now, only if I had a chair to swivel around in.
Do you just not pay attention to everybody else's desks?
Well, no wonder I'm not getting much done these days.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee. Wilde and Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Wasn't right. I should have walked, but I never had the chance. Everything got out of hand and I let it slide. Now I only have myself to blame.
Jesse, are you okay?
I'm doing great.
This is the hardest you've worked in a long time.
I'm going to need a day off, maybe Wednesday again.
Oh, I'm sure Mo would be thrilled.
He would.
All right, we got 8 more calls.
Can I tell you a quick story just to give myself a break for a second here?
Love stories.
While you brought up Mo the dog. So last night, Mo had a little accident. He's been pretty good, but he had a little accident last night in the house. So
who doesn't?
And it was right as the game was kicking off. So Becca and I tended to the accident, took him outside, cleaning it up, everything. We paused the game because I didn't want to miss anything of Roger's debut.
Paused. Good one. Good one. I'm hearing all those puns that you've been putting on your ad. That was good.
That is a lot of puns, yeah.
So,
how was the woof? Was the woof okay?
Done?
He's barking up the wrong tree himself now.
If I can remember more of the puns, I'm going to keep throwing. I can't remember the rest.
So, we were about 7 minutes behind when we resumed watching the game, and Jason sent us a text that didn't indicate what had happened, but it indicated something had happened.
Holy blank is what it said.
And I turned to Becca and I said, okay, something's about to happen. Can't wait to find. And I thought it would be like an 80-yard touchdown pass on the first play or something like incredible that he did, something Rodgers.
Yeah.
So then when that happens, I said, well, I guess we know what that text was about. And then sure enough, later on, the injury details come out and everything, and it was devastating. But watching it on a 7-minute delay compared to when everyone else had first seen it, and then seeing a couple other texts come in, I didn't read them to see what it was. It was still a surprise to me, but it was kind of like that thing where you try and wait to, like, if you record a game and you want to watch it later. It felt like a mini version of that last night, thanks to Mo.
All right, Jesse, great job making people on hold wait a little bit longer. So let's do this since we're close to being on time.
Aww.
Great opportunity for Tausch to tell us about Coors Light, and then we can just go calls the rest of the show in the 11 o'clock hour, which will kick off shortly. Does that work for you guys?
Let's crack open a Coors Light because of Jesse's great story. Coors Light brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lagered, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it is made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light's refreshing, crisp, only 102 calories. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The 11 o'clock hour kicks off with your calls. Aaron Rodgers' season is over. A ruptured Achilles tendon suffered last night against the Buffalo Bills ends his season after 4 snaps. We'll get to your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
During COVID-19, many businesses have had to furlough staff or reduce wages. Others have shut down completely.
A loss of income forces people to leave their homes in search of more affordable housing. Tragically, some people of color are shut out of housing opportunities because of their race, color, or national origin.
If you suspect housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD.
Fair housing. The law is on your side.
Learn more at HUD.gov/fairhousing.
A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Before we get the calls, I would just like to prove your point about social media. Mr. Doug, geez, you guys and your love fest for Rodgers. The guy's a kook. Good football player for sure. Glad he's gone from Green Bay. Badger John. Good God, Wilde acted like he died. I didn't think so. When 4-85 and 17-12 left, fans were told it's a business. Bemoaning loss of a number 1 pick is the business side. If he was still in Green Bay, we'd get nothing. Wasn't Damar Hamlin there at the game last night? And the 3,000 that did die? I assume that's a 9/11 reference. Rehab or retire? $75 million the next 2 years. I hope you feel better, John. That's all I got to say to you. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Beaver Dam and talk to Dan. Dan, good morning. Thanks for holding on so long. What do you got for us?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, about a 45-minute wait, but, it's good to talk to you guys.
Hey, Dan. Dan?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know. I would not wait 45 minutes to be on the show, and I host it. So I appreciate your patience, buddy.
We should
Thank
start
you.
selling fast passes like Disney World and all the theme parks. They figured this out.
Jesse's got a moneymaker idea to kind of pay for dog kibble and stuff. All right, Dan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have to be honest. I was at the office doing things on the side, so I just had you on speaker and listening to everything. But, yeah, for some people, 45 minutes is a long time. So, okay, I got a couple comments up front. Then I've got a question for Tausch, and then a couple comments after that. And I'll start with 4 years ago on draft night when Jordan Love was picked. So if I recall all the coverage, Rodgers was sitting there watching the draft with some friends. So he sees that the Packers, it's getting closer to our pick, and they trade a 4th-round pick to move up 4 spots. And I think in his mind, if I recall right, when he was saying that he was thinking it was a done deal to pick Justin Jefferson or another top wide receiver, because that draft was loaded with wide receivers. And then the Packer pick comes across the screen, and I think if I remember right, he had a few not so nice things to say. And so my question to Tausch is, having played a long time and being in an organization for a long time, did Goody owe him a call at that point in time, being with the organization, 14, 15 years at that point, and being a quarterback? Not to say that other positions are different, but was he owed a call, do you think?
Yes. Yes, I do think it would have. I'm not sure what it would have done, but I think somebody that you lean on as much as you do the quarterback, and he's been there a long enough time, you don't change your strategy. You say, you just let him know, hey, we really like this kid. If he's available, we could take him. We think he might be available at this spot, just to give you a heads up. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy to say, and I think that would have probably helped that relationship maybe a little bit more than how they ended up doing it. I think definitely left a spur in old boy's boot.
Because, Dan, remember, and then you can continue with your other points, but remember, he was on with Pat McAfee at the time, and he had made a comment about how they had not picked a skill position offensive player since he was picked. And he did definitely have his hopes up. I also, not only was he pissed, I also think he was embarrassed because he was blindsided by that. And I think that really bothered him. Now go ahead.
Yeah, and I guess in looking at it, I was in Rogers' court with that. They had a pretty good family feud going on, obviously, for the next couple, 3-4 years. And obviously he goes on to have 2 MVPs, maybe not the stellar things that we wanted to see in the playoffs from an MVP, but I was in his court with that because I thought, Goody was kind of trying to put the big hat on and say, well, I'm making all the choices here. And I look at even Bill Belichick, when I was reading an article, Tom Brady talked about how he was part of the process. He was called and conferred with on some of their draft picks. And you know how Bill Belichick can be. So I thought that was quite an interesting difference between the Packer organization and in New England. We all know where they ended up. So I guess with that said, I was in Rogers' court for a couple of years, but then last year left a big bad taste in my mouth when the Packers, another caller mentioned how Aaron kind of maybe manipulated the organization there towards the end, and also maybe media. But here the Packers give him this big contract. If I recall right, 3 years, close to $150 million, the highest amount in a year. I think it was 49.9 or something like that per year. And what he proceeds to do then when he got that contract, after the draft last year, would we have 3 or 4 rookie wide receivers? What's he proceed to do but stay home in California or wherever he was vacationing and did not come in for OTAs or any other team activities where he could have been what I would consider more of a leader and a team player at that point in time. But he didn't do that. And then what he did sometimes during the season last year, he would blame some of these receivers for not reading the right coverages and being in his mind and, what he would do, what he saw. And I guess my point is the first couple of years I was in his camp last year left a bad taste in my mind.
Right.
In my mouth.
Dan, thanks for the call, Dan. Yeah.
And I would
that was a good call. Okay, go ahead, Jason. Just trying to help you out.
I know you were, but I was trying to do my job too, and I'm not good at it. I think Dan is like a lot of fans. I think there are lots and lots of people that feel that's why I let him go as long as I did, because I think there's a lot of people that work through the same process of,
for sure.
I was always in his camp. I thought he was wronged by the organization. But I would say that Dan is right. Lots of people turned, right? Last year. He chose to do that. What were you doing?
I had a sneeze. I didn't want sneezing on the video.
Instead of covering your mouth with your elbow, you put your hand in front of the camera?
What you want me to what on the screen? I'm trying to be respectful here.
I looked up and there was
Made
your
a little
hand.
more of a scene.
Like normally you just move on, keep talking, but not old Wilde. Next time I'm sneezing, I'm gonna be blowing mucus everywhere in that camera. How's that?
I want to see mucus on the lens. I want
feel like
mucus
you
on
want
the
mucus.
lens.
Deal. I want mucus up that lens.
If you're not watching on video, you can always tune in. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Dan's point was really, I think, there is, I think, a majority of Packer fans feel the way Dan just said it.
Yes.
And the way that he approached his time in New York, I think when we saw all that vitriol last night, I believe a lot of that came from that place. Like, he didn't do it here, but he's doing it there, and that pisses me off. That's where I think a lot of that came from.
Totally agree. Let's keep going with the calls. Let's go to Nashotah and talk to Mac. Mac, thanks for holding on. What do you got?
Hey, I was watching the game last night. The very limited amount Aaron Rodgers was in. Watching those first few snaps, it was. I was feeling a little protective of Aaron Rodgers because that offensive line was just not taking care of him at all. I mean, it kind of ran through my mind before the injury happened, like, man, he's going to be lucky to make it through this whole season without an injury, right, with the way they're playing. And when the injury happened, at first I thought maybe he just tweaked his ankle. When he gets up and sits back down, it's like, oh no, this is much more serious than that.
Yeah.
And it kind of a general sadness kind of fell over me, just thinking that this is potentially the last time that we may see Aaron Rodgers on a football field.
So Mac, was your Mac was your sadness for him as a player and enjoying watching him play, even if it's with the Jets, or was your sadness about the impact it was going to have on the Packers draft pick?
Much more so just being able to watch a top 5 quarterback of all time and just all the work that, many NFL quarterbacks put in the offseason.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys who he gives it all, So it's, I feel for the guy, It's,
good.
It's a tough spot.
I'm glad that you and I want to be clear, and thanks for the call. You can feel both. You can feel sad for him and sad for yourself not being able to watch him, and you can be sad that you're not going to get as good of a pick. You don't need my permission to feel that way, but I totally understand that feeling too. It's not that. It's not the issue that we had. Let's go to Jeff in Madison. Jeff, thanks for holding on. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch.
Yeah, listen, I was watching the game from the start last night, and those first 4 plays that he played before he hurt himself, for the first 3 plays, he looked old. He did not look. He looked old. He looked 40. Secondly, I don't understand. Hackett's got a bit of responsibility in this too, because first play they run, Breece Hall gets 26 yards, and even after he went down, their running game solid. I don't know why he's got to throw 4 plays in a row into people that are expecting him to do just that. What in the world are they thinking, that they're not trying to run the ball with Cook and Breece Hall and the other kid that they had that had a great preseason? It's just a flawed game plan to start with. And then he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not these young guys that are going to run around anymore and do what he does. He's 40 years old, and he looked it in those first few plays.
Yeah, you nailed everything you said there, and I would also add to that, I think it was Josh that sent us this on our private talk and text line, that there's something from The Athletic and Diana Rossini that Rodgers had expressed that he didn't like play calls involving cut blocks, and that's what Dwayne Brown, Tausch, help us out with this as an offensive lineman. The first one that he got hit on, Becton missed his cut block. And then the one that he got injured on, Dwayne Brown missed his. How hard are cut blocks to properly execute? And I heard Troy Aikman say that when you call a play that calls for cut blocks, it means that you are expecting the ball to get out of the quarterback's hand quickly. Is that correct?
Yeah, you don't do that unless you do 3-step drops. And the ball needs to come out. And by the way, I saw a video, and again, I'm not a Twitter video guy, but the ball needs to come out too. It's not
Right.
everybody that's trying to blame the O-line and the strategy, all this other stuff. The old boy was open. Aaron could have thrown the ball. So, you can look at and pick at and do all this other stuff and say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. You want to get hands down. That's why they ask you to cut on three-step. You want those slants. And the best way to stop a slant, get the big, long DNs, get your hands up, and you can intercept it. They can knock it down. So you want to go get at their legs. And even if you don't get them down, you get them to flinch down.
Right.
And then the ball's supposed to be out into an open window. So I'm not I don't think Aaron is going to sit there and blame his own line on that. Now, if you want to say he's going to get hit a bunch because they're left tackle and all this other, that's all fair.
Sure.
And that was a concern I had of Aaron going to the Jets. He ain't going to have the same great O-line that he's had with the Green Bay Packers. And he has gotten older. I said last year I felt like he had lost, I don't know, probably a half a step when he's trying to pull out of some of those runs.
Yep.
That stuff's all noticeable. Mm-hmm. So those are all fair critiques, but injuries happen, man. And, unfortunately, it happened way earlier, and it never happened at a good time, but you'd have liked to have seen the season unfold a little bit more for old number 8.
All right, we got all kinds of calls still to go. Let's take one more before the break. Let's go to Joaquin in Milwaukee. Joaquin, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Morning, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for waiting, man.
Okay, so I just got a couple points, man. Being a true fan or fanatic or whatever, it comes with a lot of emotions, basically a roller coaster ride, makes you feel all types of ways about people. But once we allow those emotions to make us lose our humanity, that's when we have a problem as people. Because Aaron he's a human being. He feels pain. He bleeds just like everybody else. And for a long time, he bled green and gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for people to be happy, taking solace that he's injured, man, that man's got a family. He's got people who care about him, and he feels pain. It's going to be a long time before he gets back to, being able to do what he wants to do, if he even decides to come back and play football. So I just want to say, man, to all those people out there that are saying, I'm happy he got injured or whatever, I think they need to take a long look in the mirror and see if they're allowing those fanatic emotions to get the best of them as human beings.
Amen.
And they need to rethink themselves.
Yeah, great call. We appreciate it. You said it way better than I did, and it took you way fewer words, frankly. Well done.
Very good point. Yeah, you nailed that, Jason. He did.
I nailed both points. That it was a really good call, and it was shorter than me. 844-770-3776. More of your calls. Aaron Rodgers' season with the Jets is over after 4 snaps. A ruptured Achilles tendon. It's been confirmed. How do you feel? As a Packers fan, as a person, whatever it might be. We'll get more of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at Tito'sTailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate Back Tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit Tito'sTailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, there's no such thing as an uphill battle. With a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. Because with impressive towing capability, an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen, and the choice of powerful engines to pick from, Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado with the capability you need. Visit WisconsinDriveChevy.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin plays at an MVP level. They came in ahead of time, make sure they had all of the measurements. When the Pella people left, you had no idea they had been here. You just had the new window. They're great professionals, Gina, and some of the best in the world at what they do.
Right now, pay as low as $19 a month per window or $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today.
$6.99 APR for $120. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 9/30/2023.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
After an offseason of questions and speculation, Jordan Love delivered in the Packers' win over the Bears, throwing for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns, showing that he's capable of taking over for the departed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, all offseason, I think our team's been slept on. And, it's just one of those things that we can't do anything about it until we go out there and prove it. I think we did that today.
The 1-0 Packers now head south Sunday afternoon to face the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons. Kickoff from Mercedes-Benz Stadium is set for noon.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Hi, it's John Reitz. At Great Midwest Bank, we live our Simply Giving mission by supporting local causes. Here's Dave Grams, Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin, with a message about the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
For over 40 years, the Alzheimer's Association has been dedicated to Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Our Walk to End Alzheimer's event is the world's largest fundraiser for Alzheimer's efforts. Your participation helps contribute to dementia care, awareness, and progress towards the devastating disease. There are 27 walks across the state of Wisconsin this fall. Join us at Milwaukee's Lakefront on September 17th. It's the 18th largest walk in the nation. Walk for someone in your life living with dementia. Together, we can walk toward a future without Alzheimer's.
Thanks, Dave. Find a walk near you and sign up for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at alz.org/walk. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local, simply giving, equal housing lender.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Like boats in Acapulco, I'm just riding the wave. Baby, just a little loco. Emotions like a yo-yo, but I love you that way.
Aaron Rodgers' season is over. We're taking your calls as we work through how you're feeling about it. I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciative of all the calls. I just need them to be a little more concise because I want to get to everybody. 844-770-3776. Let's keep it going.
Boy, talk about irony. Wow. You asking people to be concise.
1,000% fair.
What a doozy that is.
Totally deserved. I could go on and on about how accurate that is, but I won't because I'm going to be concise. Let's go to Dave in Atlanta. Dave, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us?
Hey, I just feel real bad about Rodgers getting hurt like everybody else. But I heard you speaking of concise. I heard your big speech at the top, and
that was not concise.
I don't know. I just got to say, you seem like a passive aggressive dude since you lost the weekly appearance with Rodgers. It's like you seem like a jilted girlfriend who still has his cell number. Day after day, week after week, you guys, you talk about, like Rodgers will say something at a golf tournament or on McAfee. I think you were even more pissed when he started to go on McAfee. He'd say one little phrase and you'd use like an audio clip of it or something. Say, Tausch, what did he mean by that? It's like 25 minutes of analyzing Aaron Rodgers. It's like you make your living partially off of Aaron Rodgers, and then I think that's just a long series of paper cuts on the guy. From you say you hold a grudge. I think you do, and I think that's just as damaging on the radio. You're in social media, So to say that these people with their comments are, being mean to him or demeaning, I think if you're a psychologist, it's like one of those Dr. Heal Yourself. I just think you need to be real about that, because that's what the show has been about for a long time. A lot of Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I Dave, let me be clear with you, okay? I appreciate your opinion. You're entitled to that. I don't share a lot of the private correspondence I have with him because I don't think that's something I should do. I was really pissed at him. There was a day where I talked about it, right? About, this is a guy that, again, our friendship is complicated. And you can argue that I shouldn't have even had it to begin with. And Craig Karmazin made me do that radio show, and I'm thankful that he did. Trust me when I tell you it is not passive-aggressive or jealousy. Would I have rather had him come on our show? Absolutely. And I've said that. Aaron Rodgers moves the needle conversationally, and so when he would say stuff on Pat McAfee, quite frankly, there were times I didn't want to talk about what he said on there, and we did anyway because we know that people talk about it. Okay? Sure. Secondly, privately, he and I have a relationship that's fine now. I made the effort last year to extend an olive branch. We had the start of a good conversation. I don't think people give a damn about my friendship or relationship with him, so I do not talk about it extensively on the show. I appreciate your attempt to psychoanalyze me. It isn't passive-aggressive. And I have tried to be balanced about him. Sometimes I fail at it. But when he deserves to be criticized, I feel like I criticize him. And the way he approached last season and how much he allowed him being pissed off at Brian Gutekunst to influence how he treated his teammates and the amount of effort and attendance that he put in deserves to be criticized. And if I really wanted him to be my buddy or whatever else, I would pull my punches on that. But I am being honest in my assessments with him. So, again, everyone, whether you're Dave in Atlanta or anybody else, you're entitled to think whatever you want. But I can tell you that my takes on him are not predicated on him being on McAfee. Now, do I disagree with some of the stuff he said on McAfee? And do I have a problem with some of the stuff he said? And do I find some of the things he said and did irresponsible? I do. And guess what? I get to feel that way, too. Mm-hmm. That gets to bother me. But, no, I'm not going to bore people with further discussion of my relationship with him. But I will tell you that that is not an accurate depiction of what my issues might be with him. Let's keep going with the calls. Let's go to Spencer in Minnesota. Spencer, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Jason, what you said at the top really resonated with me when I was 15, 16 years old. The tailgate tour was coming to my hometown of Superior, Wisconsin, and I saved up my dishwasher money to get my first real stitched Packer jersey, which was an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I think this was the first year, second year was the backup. So I had that jersey. Sorry, Tausch, I only had just on my hat that I had. Sorry, business is business. But was in line to get was in line to get the jersey signed and everything. And then I get up there and, I got my jersey, 15, 16 years old. I was like, oh, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, it's Spencer. So takes the time to write to Spencer, follow your dreams, Aaron Rodgers. So that's, kind of my prized possession now. But it's just, I know he's a different guy now, but I just really hate how the media and social media has kind of swayed things. Even on Sunday, Leroy Butler, who's on the board of directors now, he tweets out something along the lines of how refreshing it is to start a season with a quarterback who isn't complaining about his wide receivers or the offense. And I'm like, yes, he was upset about things, but he never did that. At the very end of the year, he said that they missed Devontae, and that was about it. And that was, everyone compares them, wanting to run the show like Tom Brady almost. Well, Tom Brady never got the flack, even though he wanted, they traded for Rob Gronkowski and they signed Antonio Brown, and he literally got Bruce Arians fired after he came out of retirement. So I was really looking forward to this year for Aaron Rodgers to finally have his little experiment, and we could see, how it was going compared to the Packers. And Wilde, I've been listening to you guys way too long. I get ahead of myself with the narratives. But the way Sunday went, with the Packers and Jordan Love looking good, Matt LaFleur, that was great. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys looking good, blowing the Giants out. I was like, man, I think Monday Aaron Rodgers is going to have a really good game. The Jets are going to look good, at least if nothing else for 1 week. everything surrounding the Packers and all the drama we've had the last 5-6 years surrounding him, everything would have been good, at least for 1 week. So last night really, really sucked. And it's a bummer that we're not going to be able to see him play this year.
Right. And it doesn't matter where you are, and thanks for the call, Spencer, on that spectrum. Like, maybe you were really looking forward to seeing if him getting everything he wanted from the Jets failed spectacularly. Because you're a Packers fan, you want to say, good on Goody for not doing what he wanted. Or you wanted to see, hey, can he have what Brady did, which was got everything he wanted and went and won a Super Bowl, and see if it worked for him. And now we don't get to see either one. We won't find out because 4 snaps in, his season is over. Let's keep going with the calls. Let's go to David in Madison. David, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us?
Here's what I got for you. I was going to talk a little bit about what Dave was saying and the role of the media, but let me be a little more focused on the criticism. I'd like to see. I'm almost amazed, Mr. Wilde, that you're surprised at the vitriol pointed at Mr. Rodgers when all we do in the media is make fun of him, talk about blue and stuff like this. Instead of doing any sort of deep analysis of actual quarterback play and what they look for, which I think would be a more interesting focus, like Mr. Tausch talking about cut blocks. That's what I love listening to you guys about, not about blue and Pocahontas or whatever the heck. So I think a focus, and there are lots of players. Yeah, right, but there are lots of players in this, lots of fingers that can be pointed, and I don't want to point fingers at you because I love you guys. But I do think that coverage could be a little more focused on sticking it to the man and asking management, putting them more on. You shouldn't have to be asking Mr. Tausch now, is it fair for Mr. Rodgers to have wanted a call? Of course it was fair, and we should be asking Mr. Gutekunst why that didn't happen. We should be asking Mr. Gutekunst, hey, Mr. Rodgers said he wanted to play a role here. We know you can't say what he said, but what processes have you put into place to get him more involved in decision-making? Mm-hmm. Let's put the blame where the blame is, and the same thing about when Mr. Rodgers was asked, are you going to be back? And he said, well, I'd like to, but it takes two. And everybody said, oh, look at Rodgers being a diva. Oh, look at Rodgers trying to put... No, he was right. He was perceiving accurately, but they didn't want him around. They probably didn't want him around since the time of his press conference where he blew up the organization for not being good to former players.
Right. David, let me say this, okay? And first of all, thank you for saying Mr. That does not happen to me very often. Secondly,
I like that.
I would say that in our defense, Tausch and I think, accurately depicted what he said in Chicago last year and pointed out how significant it was that he chose to say what he did. Third, we do serve a lot of different interests on this show. And there are people that want to talk about the goofy stuff that is not hardcore football. Okay? So one of my biggest challenge in this seat is trying to keep everyone happy that listens, because I want the most people to listen and watch on YouTube and whatever else is possible. So you get the insight from Tausch about football, having played in 11 years in the NFL. Sometimes we do talk about ayahuasca and panchakarma and darkness retreats and all that. I try to balance it all out. I think your criticism is valid, as opposed to Dave in Atlanta's, which I disagreed vehemently with. But it is a juggling act. And we try to do all things for all people. Sometimes we don't do as much of what you'd like and what others would like, but we try. 844.
And I think, just to go back on that last point of getting after Mr. Gutekunst, Mr. Rodgers. I like the Mr. Tausch. I like that.
Sure you did.
There was plenty of blame to go around on both sides. This wasn't just an organizational thing, and I really felt like when Aaron had the opportunity after that Bears game last year to say, man, Christian Watson's he's coming on. It could have been, had Aaron really wanted to stay, I thought he could have really put his flag down and said, man, I can't wait to continue to grow with this team. We're going to keep scrapping to get in the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to get there, but I love the direction it's going. You never heard any of that either. He could have been better last year. He was being better in New York. That's what pissed off some Packer fans. Mm-hmm. So it's not all Brian Gutekunst. It's not all Mark Murphy. Aaron Rodgers also had a hand in the whole thing, and that's why we're in a situation. And by the way, it's worked out pretty well when it comes to where we're at as we're sitting here going into week 2. with a young Packer team that I think the excitement level is really high with a quarterback that looks like he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, we will resume those conversations, and we'll bring back the Badgers Outsider, who I was actually really looking forward to talking about his thoughts on the trip to Pullman. Well, he didn't take the trip, you did. Tausch, before I forget, because I'm feeling a little bit disoriented with all the calls, almost as much as Jesse, why don't you tell us about Kohler Services and the great partnership we have with them?
Yeah, and if you've been thinking about updating your bath or your shower, well, Kohler Services is the place to go. Kohler Services, a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. You think premium, quality, luxury Wisconsin brand. Kohler is at the top of that list, and Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. You can start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. Tell them that old T sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
More of your calls. I know you're still on hold. We'll get to them next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Well, test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as simple as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI. That's code WI at prizepicks.com/WI for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
To the best crew in baseball, this is for you. Join Brewers Fan Appreciation Weekend September 15th through the 17th. As a special thank you, enjoy buy one, get one beer on Friday the 15th. Gate giveaways all weekend, including 2024 Brewers ticket vouchers. And a Fan Appreciation Night William Contreras bobblehead giveaway on Saturday the 16th. Grab your seats at brewers.com/fan appreciation.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Tailgating is back, Wisconsin. Have you ever wondered how tailgating started? One theory is that it started during the first college football game in 1869, as spectators spent their pregame ritual grilling sausages at, of all places, the tail end of a horse. Another is that tailgating started in 1919 during the first Green Bay football season. Fans backed up their pickups to the field, folded down their tailgates for seating, and served food and beverages. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've been the place to stock up for all your tailgate rituals. With over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines, Discount Liquor is your one-stop tailgate shop. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. See all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Aaron Rodgers' season is over with a torn Achilles, and we have spent the entirety of the show taking calls. 21 minutes left in the program. Let's get to our final 6 calls that we've got on hold. Let's start with Leroy in Milwaukee. Leroy, thanks for holding on so long. What do you got for us?
Good morning, you guys. Mr. Wilde and Mr. Tausch. I appreciate you guys. Been a loyal listener for 2 years now. First time calling in.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, I'm hurt. Thank you, guys. I'm hurt, you guys, man. That brought a little smile to my face, man. 18 years. I've been a Favre fan for a long time when he brought us that championship, along with then came Rodgers, and then came Jordan Love, you guys. But what I saw last night that hurt me when he fell back down, that hurt my heart and soul, you guys. So I just wish him the best. And if he listen to you guys, and I hope he do throughout this call, and I hope he hear me, I wish him the best, a speedy recovery. But what I saw last night that bothered me, you guys, I don't feel good about it. He brought us a championship as well as Favre did. When Mr. Tausch was back in them days, I saw him too. So I'm hurt, you guys. I know you guys, I'm the last caller. I just appreciate you guys accepting my call. And I just want to say, if you guys have Josh DiMaggio, I also listen to Scalzo and Brush too. But I'm a number
Not
one
anymore.
Josh DiMaggio fan, so he'll know. I love you guys.
Leroy, we appreciate you. We were with you all the way up to being a Josh DiMaggio fan. Now I got to question a little bit of your judgment, but we still love you, buddy. Thanks. No, Josh, again, we don't have time for Josh because of so many other calls, but I really am intrigued to find out what Josh's process has been in the last, 15, 18 hours or whatever it might have been. 844-770-3776. The villain, John Wesley. He's taken out Patrick Swayze, and now he joins us. Wes, what's up, bud?
Taking out Patrick Swayze. You're funny. It's been a great show today. A lot of, interesting calls. I'm one of the guys that, in some of the people's social media posts, that did toss out the word karma, but it wasn't against Rodgers. I've talked about Rodgers and whatnot, but you never want to see anybody get hurt, in particular a guy that, has given as much as he can to the league and gave to the Packers. My biggest thing as far as karma goes was against the Jets. And just the idea that, in watching Hard Knocks and, the Jets won the Super Bowl back in April. And, the fact that they didn't have, they didn't even think about the fact that an injury could occur with Rodgers. They didn't have a succession plan in place. And I know that they talked up Zach Wilson last night. But we've all seen Wilson for the last 3 years. He's horrible. And, if the Jets defense doesn't carry this team, I think they'll be lucky to win probably 6 or 7 games. So my thing with karma is just the fact that the Jets forgot about the fact that you have to prove what you're going to do on the field. And it's not about, what you're doing in practice or what you're saying, in the camera or anything like that. And the offensive line that they had, I don't know why they didn't go to the Packers and try to, offer them a couple picks for David Bakhtiari, because I think back at that time they probably could have, somehow, some way worked something out, because I don't think Bakhtiari really wanted to be here at that time. So, my whole thing with the karma was not against Rodgers getting hurt, but just the fact that the Jets did not set their team up for what if something happens with Rodgers and he even misses 5 or 6 games, let alone the entire season.
Well, and Wes, your point is a good one about the offensive line. And Tausch, you said it about the cut blocks. That's expecting the ball to come out quickly. But I think over the course of time, I think we were going to see, and we talked about it going into the season, they did not assemble an offensive line that was going to keep him safe all year long. Unlike the Packers, who have done a good job of that with their young quarterback.
There's a lot of teams that are in that predicament.
Sure.
And I would disagree with the villain on the karma of the Jets. The Jets went all in. They took a big swing. I don't have one problem at all with the Jets. Yeah, their O-line wasn't as good. They didn't get the actual pick swap cost them an offensive tackle.
Correct.
So if you're all laughing at me with the draft pick swap thing that I pounded home to you guys for
you
months,
did pound it home,
was a part. But the idea that they didn't go to a backup plan, if your starting quarterback gets hurt in this league, you're going to be in trouble. Kansas City Chiefs, they have a good backup plan. Joe Burrow, they have a good backup plan. Josh Allen, they have a good backup plan. Dak Prescott, they have a backup plan with Cooper Rush. But is that going to be a case with it? So I get it. I understand what John's saying, but I don't have a problem. I'm not saying karma to the Jets. The Jets did what they thought was going to get them a chip. And to get their fan base excited after they've been terrible for a decade, you have to make big, bold moves. They did it. I don't have any issue at all with anything that the New York Jets did in that regard. And I think the Packers took advantage of it. They gave up more than I thought they needed to. And now the Packers are going to reap the rewards of it. So I think it was what happens in the NFL when you don't have a guy and you're desperate and your fan base is clamoring and you're in a big media market. I ain't mad one bit with what the Jets did. None.
We will close out the show with a few more calls. Unprecedented in the history of Wilde and Tausch. Some more calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Cam Russell, a senior at Marquette University High School. A wide receiver for the Hilltoppers, Russell's making a statement so far to start the season after missing all of his junior year due to a knee injury. So far this season for the 3-1 Hilltoppers, Russell's racked up 19 receptions for 337 yards and 4 touchdowns. MUHS currently is on a 3-game winning streak following a 49-0 clobbering of Brookfield East. So next up, Russell will try his hand at a third 100-plus receiving yard game of the season. That'll happen Friday night against Menominee Falls. A dual sport athlete, Cam is also a member of the Hilltoppers track and field team in the spring. Congratulations to Cam Russell, this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you. We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission is inviting high school seniors and those recently graduated to consider applying for police aide or fire cadet positions. Gain experience, earn tuition reimbursement, and set yourself up for a high-earning career in the criminal justice or fire science field. For more, visit city.milwaukee.gov/FPC. That's city.milwaukee.gov/FPC. Also text 414-519-6190 for more information.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rum shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You gotta say that on the air. It was not rum shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you'll always find great deals. Right now, get even greater savings store-wide with our lowest prices of the year. Like 5 quarts of Citgo Full Synthetic Motor Oil, $19.99 after sale and $7 mail-in rebate. Rewards members save an extra $2. 20-pound bags of KT Nut and Fruit Blend Bird Food, just $26.99. $2 off gallon-sized Fast Orange hand cleaner with pumice. And assorted multi-pet dog and cat toys, buy one, get one free.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
The Waukesha Gun Club offers the perfect outdoor activity this weekend. Stop out and learn to shoot at one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs. The Waukesha Gun Club features sporting clay courses, trap, and skeet ranges. Safety personnel will be on site to help answer your questions. Make plans now to enjoy the beautiful fall weather at the Waukesha Gun Club, just 1 mile north of I-94 at exit 295. Get more info at waukeshagunclub.org. Learn to shoot this weekend at the Waukesha Gun Club. Stop out and try something new.
Heading up north this summer for some golf? Be sure to book a tee time at the Ball Golf Course, an Arnold Palmer masterpiece just north of Milwaukee on the way to Kohler. It's the best destination for your next Wisconsin round of golf. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the bog.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
All I did was run, staring at the lights, they look so pretty. Mama said, son, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna get old. All that glitter don't turn to gold, but until then, just have your fun. Boy, run.
Almost out of time. Let's get to the Hales Corners contingent of our calls. Let's start with Tim in Hales Corners and Mark in Hales Corners. Maybe they're neighbors. Mark can wait. Tim, you're first. How you doing?
Good. Jason, Tausch, thanks for taking my call. Couple things. One is that I do feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. You know, the relationship between the two parties at the end was not good. Green Bay moved on. Aaron Rodgers moved on. So be it. I was really looking forward to see how Aaron Rodgers acclimated himself with his new teammates in the new offense and how long it would take. Because I don't think it would have been a easy transition, no matter what they were saying. It would have taken a few games, and it might have taken over half the season.
Agreed.
But after watching the Jets' offensive line last night try and pass protect, and the way Aaron Rodgers likes to hang onto the ball sometimes, I don't think they could have kept him upright the whole season. And you hate to say it, but something was going to happen during the year.
I totally agree, because it was bad. We talked about the 4 snaps he played, but it was bad for Zach Wilson after that.
No, Jason, Homer always said it's easy to play O-line with Aaron Rodgers.
No.
It's easy to.
No, and you're exactly right, Tim, and I'll let you continue. But you're exactly right, because it was bad for Zach Wilson after he left the game. It would have been a long year for him, no doubt.
Yes, it would have been. I agree with you. And the last comment I want to make is that I'm glad Goody stuck to his guns. The Packers are guaranteed a second-round draft pick. From all the reports and the articles that I read, and I think when you guys comment on it, Goody was adamant about saying, no, this whole playing time thing it's the Jets' job to keep him upright. Once I want at least a second-round pick for him. It's not based on where you guys finish during the season. And who knows, maybe it will work out the same way, but the Packers are guaranteed a second-round pick right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, too, although you could argue that he was adamant that he had to get at least one first-round pick, and the Jets stuck to their guns, too, and said we have to protect ourselves And they ended up protecting themselves. But it's a tough break for that draft pick. But they had to protect themselves as an organization from taking their 40-year-old quarterback, and they got some protection.
I told you when Goody, that draft played out the way it did. Goody won it then, and he's won it again. I mean, Goody is the big winner.
Even without a first-round pick, I still agree. He won the draft, the trade. All right, one more call. Let's go to Mark at Hales Corners. Tim could just hand him the phone. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, guys. I love your show. First-time caller. Just had to weigh in on this. I was at Champs last night, Champs in Brookfield, watching the game. Lots of anti-Rodgers people in the room. I could feel it as I walked into the restaurant with my Aaron Rodgers Jets T-shirt on. And
did Bruss
when he got hurt.
He's with Ben Bruss.
I'm sorry?
Nice.
Did Ben Bruss no, he did not. No, he did not. I bought it with my own legal tender on the NFL Shop.
Okay, all right. No, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. That's okay. He goes down, and there's people in the restaurant clapping, and I'm overhearing comments, and I'm really trying to hold it together. And I was just appalled by the behavior of people in that restaurant watching that game, that they thought it was good that the man got hurt. Everything he did for this organization, all the great memories he gave us as Packer fans, I personally think he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen throw the football, best pure throw over the football. And for his career to possibly end that way, it took me back to, as a Packer fan, I was probably a teenager, getting the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel and finding out and reading that Sterling Sharp's career was over because of spinal stenosis. Mm-hmm. And I got a little emotional this morning, going back to that and thinking about that. And I pray to God that he's able to come back and play football, because he's been one of the best we've ever seen. And I don't think anyone can take that away from him, regardless of how you feel about some of the comments, political views he has. That's why, Wilde, I love listening to you and respect you so much, because you really do shoot it both ways with him. And that's kind of how I approach it. And I have so much respect for you guys on this show. And keep talking about Rodgers as we go through this, because it's got to be talked about. He was one of the greatest Packers ever.
Not because of what you said close to the end there, Mark, but what you said about being there at that restaurant and hearing this. I don't know how it worked out that you were our last call, but it couldn't have worked out better. Thanks for waiting for so long to get on the air and being a first-time caller to share that insight to close things out, because we appreciate you. Tausch, compliments notwithstanding, to hear him say that and to hear him put in perspective the greatness of Aaron Rodgers, I think that is what has been forgotten in the emotion, is how often he was so great for the organization that so many people that listen to this show cheer for. And I hope maybe they remember that now because of this a little bit.
And they will. I told you when they traded him, they will. It's just like with Favre. There's a lot of sentiment that was, I can't believe he went to Minnesota, and then he filled the stadium for $4 to get inducted to the Pac Hall of Fame. That will always be remembered. And I think the passion that we heard everybody talk about, we saw, that's what makes people fans. All I've thought through this is take a breath and understand that what else is going on. And you could be a fan. You could say, I want draft picks. I want all this. That stuff's all great. But the whole idea of just wishing this on someone, that's just, it's bad, man. I didn't like that. And I think it happened more than I think we would hope it would have.
Thank you for all your calls. We will get to a regular, typical Wilde and Tausch show tomorrow. And it will include maybe double trivia or triple trivia Thursday. Who knows? Thanks for all your calls today. Thanks to everyone who's so loyal to this show. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your Green and Gold